Yeah, they hate when you elevate. They stacking up losses, I'm handing them out, yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly, I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. Yeah, they hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate, yeah. I had to elevate. I'm way too fly, yeah, I'm feeling myself. Ain't no chance I'm coming down, no. Got a soul view to myself, yeah. Why would I give it up? Why do they wanna come take my place? I work too hard for it, don't need a replacement. This my vocation, now I got rollies, all in rotation. Hop on a jet just to take a vacation. Remember the moments was trapped in the basement. Now the hard work is all taking me places. Squatting all black like we trapped in the matrix. Bet on myself and go ball out in Vegas. Living a life like I'm rich and I'm famous. Don't see the grind that I know that it came with. Oh. I ain't make it this far for myself, yeah. I had to prove to everybody else, I had to set them straight, yeah. I had to ball, so the second of losses, I'm handing them out, yeah. I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly.
Salute to everybody in the building.
I had to set them straight.
Hey.
They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. Yeah, they hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate, yeah. I had to elevate. Ooh, yeah. Why they wanna bring me down? So much drip, yeah, I almost drowned in it. I can't come it down. Yeah, I'm way too far.
Yerp. A hootie hoo. A salute to the chat, man. Who we got in the building today, man? You know what I'm saying? We got Devontae Richardson in the building. Salute, Devontae. I said Javante. Salute Eastside Easy in the building. I appreciate you, brother. Did you see me up in there just trying to talk boxing, man? But you know these guys, we'll talk about it. These guys, they wanna pretty it up with a whole lot of talking and a whole lot of animated reaction to the facts, but they won't answer the simple questions, right? The simple questions like, where's the contract at, right? Where's the confirmation? You know what I mean? Where's your facts at? They want to sell you. They want to discredit the fighter. They want to discredit the fight. They want to say that the guy shouldn't be listened to, that he's a liar. We shouldn't listen to him. He's shown so many habits of lying because their guy always tells the truth. Their team always tells the truth. But how about this? Maybe their team does tell the truth, but their team ain't tell them nothing because their team don't communicate with them because their team don't even rock with them like that. Their team ain't on Twitter giving them information and letting them know what's going on. Their team stays quiet because they ain't got to answer to nobody. And salute to their team, man, for recognizing the casuals that follow them and understand that they don't need communication, man. They're gonna talk you regardless. We don't even need to tell them nothing. They'll just say stuff out there to keep our name in the streets. So salute Eastside Easy. Salute Sonny Augustine in the building. Salute King. Salute Jory Fink, man. Salute King. Sonny Augustine. I watched you in the Blue debate earlier. These boxing fans is very delusional. It's amazing to me how some of these boxing fans are so misinformed, listening to certain content creators' false narratives. It doesn't amaze me at this point, man. It's been a learning curve for me at this point, Sonny Augustine. Going around these different channels and where I started from, really like not realizing this was a huge casual fan base, that there wasn't really a lot of like hardcore boxing channels out there like that. But as I've been to channel, there's a handful out there that try to keep it business. But for the most part, there's a lot of casual energy out here. A lot of casual energy. I appreciate you, man, seeing me out there, man, and having my back out there. Shout out to Jonathan97 in the building. Salute, King. Salute to you, my G. Salute. Ray Davis, of course, co-host in the building. Salute. Legacy over currency. The Fine Mindset. Salute, my G. Khalil Khalik, day one subscriber in the building. That's a fact, Khalil. Hold on, man. Khalil, you got me feeling some kind of way. You day one subscriber, and yeah, man, y'all got to call me out of my BS, man. Let me get that out the way. We got that out the way. My bad, Khalil. That's a fact. That's my bad. Ori Faints right here in the building. Salute, Clay. Salute, Ray. And thank you, Ray, for showing love to the JBT Hardcore Boxing News. Oh, man, definitely, Ray, out there showing love. I've been on that channel one time. Very good channel, man. I really like those guys over there. That's actually one of those handful of channels that's really talking about boxing, man. Really adult level
That's
content,
hardcore.
talking about what's important. You know what I mean?
That's hardcore right there, bro.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact, man. That's one of those channels. Country Q in the building.
Did we shout out Devontae Richardson earlier? Because he's at the top. Okay, good. Shout out to that brother, man. I see him up there sitting all alone before your comment. So I was like, make sure we get that
before
brother.
We even came on the show, he had put some in the comments before the show even started.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said I want to make sure we shot him out on the band list. You know what I mean?
Big fact.
Country Q jumping in the building. 2 cents. Woo!
The real 2 cents in the building.
Right,
the real 2 cents. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That we compare you to the Big Baby Miller and the Big Baby Jarrell Miller and the Big Baby Jared Anderson. You know, you the real Big Baby. You know what I'm saying? You the real 2 cents. You know what I mean? We recognize you, family. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know what I mean? Listen, it's so fun out here, man. Let me tell you, Clay. Today has been a great day for boxing talks. It's getting serious. I've never seen you talk about sides of the streets, bro. Oh, let me back up a little bit because I know y'all want to see me talk. So can you hear me clearly? Because I'm gonna back
I hear you. For sure.
The microphone and stuff. So look, we talk about sides of the street. You know me.
Mm-hmm.
I kicked Shakur down, punched him in the face a few times, threw him over the fence, brought him back, dragged him in, gave him his credit. Threw him back over the fence. So you know me. I am not a Shakur fan. I support boxing. I support the fighters.
Right.
You know, I'll call a spade when I see him doing something wrong and crazy, especially the way he talks, right? You know that. But at the same time, when he stops talking, I become a fan of Shakur.
Right.
Because I know what he has to offer. Now, I'm also a supporter of Tank Davis. So with Tank Davis being that dude too, let me tell you, bro, listen. It's cool. Tank ain't saying nothing. All the fan base is. So I'm sitting here like, yo, all these dudes that actually rock with Tank, and when I mean rock with him, I mean like listen, I wouldn't be surprised if they go through his garbage, bro, just to say they got something from him. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, like, yo, look what I got. He ate Oreos yesterday. Yeah. I got the wrapper, bro.
He only ate 3 Oreos in his whole pack. He threw out I got some Tank Oreos.
Right. So it's like they bring it. You know what I mean? They bring this type of energy, and then they don't expect us to as boxing pundits, people that believe in boxing, to try to sell the other side. We're not taking irresponsible measures. We're being responsible, which the guys that support the man, we call them man fans, right? Or in my case, I'm gonna call them Mitches right now because that's what they're acting like. They're crying over spilt milk. But they acting like, yo, you know, this guy, this and that. So we just sitting there like, yo, let's explain the other side. Let's just stop pushing narratives and then start throwing sprinkles on the cake to make it taste better. Bro, Tank hasn't set the contract. Point blank. And that's the cheerleaders too. Yeah, told you. Dude, Terrell Owens. I call him all Terrell. Remember Terrell Owens got in the end zone, did the end zone dance with the pom-poms? Yeah, that's what they doing. They got the popcorn ready and everything, bro. Yeah, they doing that. They doing all that. But listen, so my point is, they out there pushing these narratives, and they add some spices to the mix to try to stir it up. Then they do that by kicking this guy back in, lying, just to push envelopes through the mail. This dude never received a contract. Yes, there was contact made. He admitted that there was some contact made. But what he did say is, I haven't received a contract. He made it clear. Yeah, there was some information, you know, we dabbled a little bit, but nothing was sent. He was live on another channel, face to face with one of the coaches, and asked him, yo, sub me in, tag me in, coach. I swear he said, tag me in, coach. And what do we get from that? Oh, no, not right now, Shakur. You don't bring nothing to us, man. You're going to have to wait. Can you wait till March? Can you wait till March, Shakur? Shakur's like, what? Wait till March? Man, y'all trying to freeze me out, bro. Y'all trying to make me inactive so y'all can catch one. Nah, I ain't doing that. Y'all go ahead. But if y'all need me, I'm here. Clearly said that live on the Tank fan base channel. Then he goes on, and the coaches literally, after Shakur had, before he does the interview, Shakur, the Tank fans go, the coaches, I'm sorry, no disrespect to the coaches, but they go, listen, Shakur's not in our radar right now. And they both standing next to each other. Shout out to Ellie Setback. Did the interview. Yeah, man. We looking to go maybe Pitbull direction since Loma pulled out. You know, we need the bag, right? Heard that. We need the bag. Shakur, you don't bring nothing to us right now, man. You got to sit there and wait a little bit, man. Two things. They want him to sit there. They want him to wait. Fans ain't liking that because he don't want to sit there and wait. So they need the bag, but Shakur can't get his bag is my point, Clay. So now this man going out there to get the bag and they mad at him, talking crazy, reckless, and stupid. Throwing shots at anybody that even speaks against Tank Davis. You know what I mean? Putting bananas in the tailpipes on ninjas. Like, for real, bro? That's how we play? Bro, I'm so happy that, you know what I mean? One of the white I ain't gonna say what I was gonna say. It's White Sox, I was gonna say, but baseball has nothing to do with this. But one of the fan bases decided to show up and try to say something and then dip before he can get cooked. I'm just saying. Go ahead, Clay. My bad. I had to roast a little bit.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Yeah, man. Shout out to Devontae Richardson. Have you great brothers noticed that the channels that really push boxing talk are scrutinized while the casual channels are praised? Well, I spoke on this a little bit earlier, Devontae. I spoke on it with Blue, and I said that what's happening, in my opinion, is that there's a lot of casuals who've entered the space, and they found an algorithm that they can tap into in the boxing space, right? They found this casual energy that they can tap into. We got to look at it. It translates even into the pay-per-view sales. It translates into the stars of boxing and the ticket sales, and it's the casual fan base. It's kind of like hip hop, right? Like, I remember one time I saw Lil Wayne talking about his concerts, and you know, there was questions about, you know, people of an opposite complexion saying the N-word and when they're singing the songs, and you know, and people were holding some sort of resentment towards it. And I remember Lil Wayne said, you know, when I'm out on the stage and I'm on the crowd, he's like, 75% of my audience are people who don't look like me. You know what I mean? 75% of the people who are listening to the music, who's going to buy the tickets to come to the concert, who's going to buy the merchandise, who's going to spend the money and not bootleg, or you know how we do in the hood. You know how we do it, right? 75% of the people who are doing it the official way, that's giving these guys their mansions, are people probably not foundationally part of the culture, right? Foundationally didn't grow up in the environment that the music is describing, didn't deal with the issues that the music is describing. It's the same thing with boxing right now. Boxing is, most of the people who are watching boxing aren't traditional boxing fans. They're people who got pulled into the sport with the Tank Davises, the Ryan Garcias, Canelo Alvarez's. You know, they jumped in with the best of the best, seeing the guys get knocked out, and they became fans of boxing through those guys. So they don't watch nothing on the underlayer. On like most of those fans probably don't even value the Better Beef and Bivol card, right? They probably, because they're not big stars over here, so they probably don't even value it. So what you're seeing is these channels are attracting a lot of those casuals, because now the casuals get to go on a channel where stupid things are being said, like, man, he garbage. Man, he not a good person. Man, you guys are following him. Man, he need to knock somebody out, or he ain't worth it. He the A side or B side. He the B side, and this is the A side. You got to treat him right. If he want to fight, he got to kiss his ass. He got to do this. He got to do that. Oh, I don't care if he boxing, sweet signs of boxing. Please, man. He can't even punch through a wet paper. He's pillow fisted. You know what I mean? I can't watch. Those are the guys that you're watching, and the casual fans have a space to go and be entertained. You know what I mean? And talk about people's money, and talk about pay-per-view sales, and talk about, you know, what fighter's worth something, what fighter's worth nothing. But very rarely are they building fights on these channels. We have to be honest and understand that. Very rarely are you going to these channels and they're building fights, right? They'll tell you who they fight or don't need to fight, but they won't tell you who they want to see their fighter fight. Or they'll say something like, I don't care who my fighters fights. I just want to see him fight. Why? Because they're pleased with the results that they're getting from their fighter winning, from him knocking people out. As long as he's knocking people out and winning, they just want to watch him do that. And as long as that's happening, and the matchmakers on the promotional company that they're supporting co-sign that mindset by making sure they get that. That's how you get a Deontay Wilder who's knocking everybody out and becoming a big star. But as soon as he jumps in the ring in front of somebody who really can, you know what I'm saying, who's really fundamentally sound and has the size and the understanding and the IQ to neutralize the power, you see he has nothing else to tap into, right? That's how you see these fighters get developed the way they get developed and get matchmaked the way they get the matchmaking, because they've learned how to entertain the casual fan. They've learned how to pull the casual dollar and make a lot of casual millions and billions of dollars, which, look, I don't knock nobody's hustle. Do what you do, right? But the credibility goes out the back door when I start seeing that you start reaching to discredit a fighter, especially, like, shout out to everybody in the building. I don't know how many people we have in the building who aren't of African-American descent or of African descent, but to this specifically to the people with African descent, right? With my black people in the room, right? No offense to nobody else, respectfully, right? I don't think it's really cringe to watch how our community tears down our fighters. Tears them down, right? They tear them down worse than anybody else. Like, they don't even need to aim at us because we're so divided. We don't support each other. We don't buy the fights. We don't support the big fights. And when we have big fights like Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, they don't show up, right? We do pay-per-view numbers that make it look like those fighters aren't that popular, right? But you look at the other community, like Ryan Garcia's community, like the Mexican community, it don't matter what Ryan does, right? He said F N-bomb word, F Muslims. He's talking crazy about him being fondled as a child, other people being fondled. He's saying anything he wants, and that community will stand behind him, right? Like, yo, bro, things happen, mental health. You know what I mean? You gotta be patient. Y'all act like he could take Ostarine. Oh, that didn't even affect you trying to take his victory away. Not only will they never turn on their own, but we'll turn on our own, right? We'll jump on their side and be like, I ain't trying to hear none of that. I ain't trying to hear none of that. We're so conditioned. This is like some Willie Lynch level diabolical conditioning going on in our community. And now we have the space, the content creation space, the internet, where people can have channels. And what's convenient for the internet might be the downfall of the people who are in these channels. And what is it? That the internet is forever. So you see us beefing with each other, trying to fight with each other. I mean, it's just a matter of time before an actual altercation happens that's caught. You know what I'm saying? Somebody getting hurt or worse, right? With the kind of words that we say to each other over fanboy energy, right? The mental health gets exposed. People are just talking all day, looking for something to say, saying anything, things they can't take back that the internet's going to hold forever. The space is toxic. So, not to make the answer a long-winded question, answer, but just to say, I agree with you, right? I agree with you that the casual channels are going to get that type of attention because they have casual fans, and there's more casual fans than there are traditional, what they would call hardcore boxing fans. But nonetheless, we're going to keep it 100 over here. The people that are going to be here are going to be the people who are looking for boxing talk. They're going to be looking for coverage on all the fights, like Jared Hurd tonight. Shout out, you know what I'm saying? Like Jared Hurd's fight tonight. You know what I mean? We got to see that. He's probably not, back, right? He didn't show nothing. We could talk about that a little later. We'll be here and we'll stand. We got time, man. You know what I'm saying? I would love for this channel to be super profitable right now, to get me out of my job so I could do this 2-3 times a day in due time, maybe 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, who knows? You know what I mean? All the big guys have been here for a long time, but we got to stay on code, and we're going to try our best to stay on code here and keep talking about boxing, man. You know what I mean? Because boxing has enough going on in boxing to talk about boxing. We don't need to sit here for hours upon hours kicking in another fighter's back, saying things that make no sense, making words up. I heard a lot of stuff today on Blue's channel when I was in. Shout out my brother Blue, man. So many things I heard on that channel today that was just like, it's humorous. You could laugh at it. Somebody in the chat said, hey, Claymore, why you always look like you holding back a laugh? It's usually because I'm looking at what's going on in the chat while we're talking at the same time. And some of the things I see coming out of the chat blows me away, right? Like, you'll see people say things like I guess the whole entire new narrative now is that Shakur Stevenson received an offer from Tank Davis's team and turned the offer down, or even worse, you're hearing rumors of him pricing himself out, right? Him asking for some absurd amount of money, and that's why the fight's not happening. And the casual fans, they're on it. white on rice. They don't need to see it for themselves. They don't need no type of confirmation. They're on it like that. We had a content creator come in there and I guess called himself either trying to debate me or correct me or stop me from capping and went into discrediting Shakur Stevenson, saying he was a liar. He said he did this before. He didn't do that. He said he did that. There's no reason to believe him. You know what I mean? Why should we believe him? So what you're definitely saying is he definitely has confirmed he hasn't received an offer, but nobody should listen to what Shakur Stevenson is saying because he's a liar. Exactly. I don't know. I'm a grown man. I'm 47 years old. I don't mind telling you guys, grown man, kids, you know what I mean? One already out the crib, another one getting ready to graduate high school this year, another one who's going to graduate high school in 2 years. I got kids, grown children that's around me, right? I don't call people liars like that. That's man time, right? Like man to man, I don't call somebody a liar just because, I feel like calling them a liar. But there's no respect. It's a generation of lawless, disrespectful, no real integrity, grounded foundation. Man children, man childs is what I'm going to call them. Man kids, right? Who have no problem saying anything that comes to their mind just in the spirit of winning an argument, right? So they'll say things like, Shakur's a liar. He lied about this. Why should you believe him? And then they'll go into what Kenny, and then they'll go and manipulate words of what Coach Kenny and Coach Calvin Ford said and be like, they said they sent an offer. Then you'll ask him for the proof, send it. You'll never get it. There'll never be a link that pops up in the chat that'll be like, look, he said they offered him something. They'll never have that link coming up, but the casual fans don't need it. The casual fan doesn't need to find out if Tank Davis sent out the contract or not. What's more important is to discredit Shakur, and they'd rather live in the gray area of the unknown and say, this is how I feel. His mannerisms, they'll bring that up. His mannerisms. Why is he carrying himself that way? It's suspicious. Why when this man is discrediting him, why isn't he attacking back with, yeah, your guy ducked me. He didn't send me a contract. You gonna tell another man how to react to a situation? So because he didn't respond with the way you would have responded, the only reason he didn't respond the way you responded is because clearly he's lying. That's why he's doing it. Clearly he's hiding something, because any real man would answer the way you would ask, because you talk like a real man and everybody else is either moving in accordance with the way you're moving and being real men, or they're doing something different, which is just weird. It gets more and more interesting. More and more interesting as you listen and you smile and you come to find out that people who you thought they were really ain't that they really on this other side of the conversation, that facts don't mean nothing. Confirmation or information doesn't mean anything. It's about what I can sell, and it's about talking spicy and with a lot of animation and cool words to make people in the chat put up fire signs and go, oh, he's cooking, he's on fire. Tell them, because they're fans and they feel like they have an advocate. They feel like they have a representation of themselves on the panel that's talking spicy with the guy with the facts, right? That guy been spitting facts all night long, man. I can't take it. Cringe. Everything he says is a fact. I finally got somebody who knows how to talk to him. He ain't scared to talk. Yeah, fine. Keep cooking. Keep cooking. Man, told me at a fight, you can talk boxing with everybody. I appreciate it. Thank you, Country Q. You know what I'm saying? And it's interesting to say the least. You know what I'm saying? To see all this develop and understand that there are no rivalries out here. Well, there are rivalries, right? Chris Rock once had a comedy show. If y'all remember the Blacker Than Ever or Black? I can't remember what it was called, but it was one of his most notorious comedy specials. What was it called?
It was like, I think it was Bigger Than Black or Blacker Than Deafer or something like that.
Yeah, but he said there's a war going on in our neighborhoods. He was like, people are talking about talking about niggas, you know what I'm saying, and black people. And he said, right. we're don't think that from the outside looking in, we not aware of it. We know about niggas. He was like, there's two different type of people in the neighborhood. There's niggas and there's black people. And he's like, and niggas got to go. He said, when I'm at the ATM, I'm not looking for white people before I pull money out the ATM. I'm looking for niggas, right? At the end of the day, you got this
Blacker and Deafer. That's what it was. Yep.
Yeah, Blacker and Deafer. Exactly, Thomas. So you've got this battle going on between the traditional boxing fan, who can talk about boxing, who wants to see the best fight the best, who want to see stylistic fights happen. Like stylistically, they want to see this kind of style versus this kind of style. And then you have the other side of the boxing fan base who has no interest in the fights. They have no interest, especially in this YouTube space. What they're interested in is having 300, 400, 500 people. Yeah, 300, 400, 500 people in the chat, and they're interested in that chat being lit up with color. Light it up with color. Put color in the chat because they're pulling money. They found a way to pull money from the space, right? Ever since COVID, pretty much. Let's be honest, right? Like right before COVID, around COVID is when all these channels came up. They found a way to supplement their income, but what they didn't bring to the table was the actual love for the sport. Right. They didn't bring that to the table. They started capitalizing on people's feelings and emotions, and they became culture vultures. They started tagging and poking at people's trigger points, pointing at the red one, poking at you. You know what I mean? Rubbing salt into your wounds and pissing you off and making you want to go on their channel, even if you don't like what they're saying, just so you can rival what they're saying, just so you can attack and argue. And then came the generation of the quote unquote debates.
Oh.
These debates,
no moderator, no questions, just
no moderator, right? No moderator, nobody to regulate the times, nobody to regulate what's being said, who's speaking too long, nobody to regulate it. These quote unquote debates that are being judged based on the ability of one guy to yell over another guy, or to out-talk him, or to make him lose his place in his thoughts in the middle of him talking, be like, what about that? What about that? What about that? And then he can't find himself, and now he's getting mad, and before you know it, what's going on? They cussing each other out, right? So these are the quote-unquote, hold on, Ray. These are the quote-unquote debates that are happening on these channels. Right. This is what's happening in the boxing space right now. And this is what you guys are being exposed to. You know, I had somebody call me up today and show me some love, man. I really appreciate it. He really showed me some love as a content creator that I have a lot of respect for. And he said, listen, man, he said, I'm going to tell you the truth. He's like, you doing something very unique over there. That channel you're doing is going to blow up because it's real adult boxing talk. Everybody gets respected up there. Nobody's getting cussed out. You guys talk about multiple different fights in one night. You look at these channels, they won't get through more than 1 to 2 fights in a 4-hour period because they're caught up just trying to discredit and attack. They're not talking about boxing. They're not talking about events that's coming. They're not talking about events that just passed, right? It could be the weekend could have just passed with a card that was amazing, and the first thing they're going to come up with on that Monday morning is something about Tank Davis, who's not even in the news. He's not even fighting nobody, or something about Devin Haney. They won't talk about Terrence Crawford and Israel Madrimov. They won't talk about David Morrell and Hot Rod, right? They won't talk about Andy Cruz and Antonio Moran. They won't talk about these fights. They're not going to talk about Jarrett Hurd and Jason Rosario tonight. They're not going to talk about any of these fights going on because they're not what they're showing you guys is they're not watching the fights. They're not watching the fights, guys. They're not. They're getting up every day. They're putting on their cameras and they're going, let me see if I can poke at a fan base and get them to argue with me. Let me see if I can pull them up on my panel, get them to argue with me about something that I'm going to control. And yeah, we're going to argue about the same thing we argued about yesterday, the same thing we argued about last week, the same thing we argued about last month, the same thing we argued about last year. We're going to keep doing that, but they're going to love it because the arguments keep the attention of the casuals. The casuals like it, right? The casuals like it. Right. So look, man, we here to set another kind of trend because in all honesty, I believe wholeheartedly, I ain't gonna lie to you guys, that channels like this are gonna make boxing fun again. It's gonna make us talk about fights again. And more importantly, when I grew up watching boxing, make us talk about the fights we want to see. Put those fights together. I want to see Jaime McGee and Christian and Billy. I want to see what that looks like right now. I want to see what Christian and Billy looks like against Canelo Alvarez. You know what? I want to see how Caleb Plant looks against Christian and Billy, or better yet, I wonder if Berlanga lose, maybe we can see Caleb Plant against Edgar Berlanga. What about if Jamal Charlo comes back? That'd be interesting to see him compete down there with Book. You know what? At 168, you know, remember those conversations, guys? You remember those talks? You remember when you used to sit there and talk like that? You know what I want to see? I want to see Floyd Mayweather Manny. You know what? I want to see Miguel Cotto against Felix. No, look, you know what's going to be a crazy fight? Roy Jones Jr. Remember those conversations? When was the last time you guys were involved in a conversation like that on one of these platforms? Be honest with yourself.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, Thomas Hill said, "Try now. Let's talk boxing." We're gonna get there, Thomas. You know we're gonna get there, but I'm definitely venting a little bit. You know what I mean? I'm this late in the evening. I'm starting off late. You know what I mean? And I'm getting some things off my chest because I just see a lot of this going on in the space. A lot of people who want to talk, who want to make everything confrontational. They don't want to agree on anything. They don't want to agree on anything. They don't want common ground on anything. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, man, shout out to everybody in the room. We definitely will talk about, we will be talking about boxing tonight. Let me look at some of these chats. So I'm gonna let you come in, Ray, in a second. I just passed up so many people.
It's cool. It's already passed. So it's nothing for me really to touch on.
Okay. Hold on one second. Let me see. Yeah, I'm watching Pro Box as we speak. So man. So am I, Country Q. 2 cents. Y'all really represent the sport in a good light and keep it respectful and still represent the culture at the same time over here. I appreciate you, 2 cents. Thank you. Too Rich. Mr. I Respect the Belt says, for real, literally bashes Shakur and gives Tank none of the responsibility. It's insanity. You know what I mean? Salute to Thomas Hill. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. Let me go down here. Mr. Big Play. Jory Finn said, preach. I appreciate that, brother. Mr. Big Play. Bray says fans need to realize my favorite boxer isn't taking money out the bank account to help any fan pay any bills. Talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Thomas Hill says they didn't send a contract, but a term sheet was sent, from my understanding, to which Shakur wasn't with. Now, how true that is? Me? Joint don't know. Yeah. I mean, look, man, that's what it's all about, right, Thomas? It's about, that's what the rumor becomes. They sent a term sheet. They sent this, they sent that. But even if they sent a term sheet, was that a term sheet for a fight now? Or was that something that they're trying to put together later, right? Somebody came up on Blue's channel today and said that, look how long it took for them to put the Lomachenko fight together, right? Like Lomachenko and Tank Davis was in negotiations pretty much right after Frank Martin. And even before the Frank Martin fight happened, the negotiations were happening. Bob Arum had already spoke towards, you know what I mean, Tank and Loma. There was already a rumor in the streets that was getting put together. And then Bob Arum chilled, stopped negotiating because he wanted to show respect to Frank Martin, saying, well, if Frank Martin wins this fight, then we'll probably got to fight Frank Martin, not Tank Davis. So after that fight, the negotiations happened. When you add up all the time it took for them to put that fight together, why is it not reasonable to understand that Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson would have lost out on a lot of promotion ability to build this fight up where it needs to be? Like Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson probably needs a solid 4 months, you know what I mean, of good promotion, right? Start off a tour. In Atlantic City, they do a press conference. Go up to New York and do a press conference. Go to Los Angeles and do a press conference. Really try to grab the fan base and get them into this fight, because this is going to be a very big fight. People don't realize it, right? It was the same thing with the Ryan Garcia fight. Like, let's get the promotion going on. Let's get the crowd. Can we coordinate and put all of that together inside of 2 months, 2.5 months? Do we want to save that fight for a better time? Is this not the time for that fight? You understand what I'm saying? So people don't take that into consideration. Everything's got to be duck talk, right? Nothing can make sense. Nothing could be the reason for why something is not getting put together. It has to be some duck talk. People don't understand that, right? That Shakur and Gervonta Tank Davis could have very well spoke on the fight getting put together and said, listen, this is how we're going to carry it. Here's how we're going to do it. There's a game plan. There's a way for us that we actually plan on putting this together. And they're moving forward with that energy, right? They don't consider those type of things. That Tank might actually be like, nah, bro, I was going to do the Lomachenko fight, but me and you, our fight, we know that I'm the number one, you're the number two guy in the division. We're the two best guys. I had a whole game plan. Amazon had a goal game plan, right? PBC had a whole game plan on how we're going to promote and market this fight so that we can maybe even break the record of the Ryan Garcia fight or get as close to it as we can. This is the one fight that I have on my list that can potentially get us close to that number. So why let a last minute hiccup with Lomachenko put this fight in danger by using you as a replacement, rather than actually announcing our fight, getting the build up for this fight and putting the promotion behind it? I got this funny feeling that my finger is on the pulse of this whole situation. I ain't gonna lie to you guys. I mean, that's just coming to my mind as I'm speaking. I really got this funny feeling I got my finger on the pulse of what's going on, but don't quote me. I'm really just speculating. Well, the main thing that I'm trying to say is that there's multiple reasons as to why this fight is not happening. Multiple reasons as to why Gervonta Tank Davis himself doesn't want this fight to happen right now. Why Shakur Stevenson is cool with the way Gervonta's approaching it. That the team is speaking to Shakur and being like, this is what we got planned. And Shakur's like, I'm down. So you know what I'm going to do? Let me go ahead and get on one of the biggest cards of the year under the light heavyweight unification undisputed championship of the world with Better Even Bivol, a fight that the whole boxing space has been waiting on for years. For years, we didn't even think we were going to get this fight. Shakur gets a co-main event on this and open the relationship with Turki Al-Sheikh. So let's start that going. Let's get that going. Who knows how many investors and how much money is going to be involved in the actual building of this fight between Gervonta Tank Davis and Shakur Stevens. We don't know. There's just so many moving parts, but people are just impatient and they're so impatient, but they also are so, what's the word I'm looking for when you want something now? What's the word when you want something now? They're so impulsively
anxious.
Huh?
Anxious?
No. The people are so, they want their emotions. They want their fix now. They want everything to happen now. What's the word? They want it now. They're so, I can't think of the word. My brain is farting right now. Somebody, huh?
I know it starts with a D. I think. What you saying?
They're so,
instant? Yeah, somebody put instant.
No, instant gratification. That's the word. People are so driven by instant gratification that they want it right now. They can't see the bigger picture. You know what I'm saying? They can't see something bigger coming, and they can't wait patient enough for it to develop, right? So they don't even consider Tank Davis's actual wanting this fight to happen in a different way. You know what I'm saying? I hope that makes sense to you guys. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of reasons why a fight can have hosts. Shout out to the let me shout out to the super chats we got in the building. We got some color in here. Clay and Ray, keep doing for the real fans. I appreciate you. We got a new guy in here, Gavin Goins. I never seen you on the channel before. I really appreciate you, man. It says new to this channel, but I appreciate the educated dialogue based on facts, not just boxing gossip. No doubt. Gavin, I appreciate you supporting the channel, brother. Hope you enjoy the content as we move forward. Let me see here. These low on boom, 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 boom. A lot of these channels are fan channels, not boxing channels. That's a fact, my guy. The beauty of the sport is watching it happen, not just I told you so and who can predict the outcomes. 100%. J Cash the Money Man says these low vibrational boxing channels love arguing and all that animosity because it leads to nigga shit, which is the only thing they got any real knowledge in. Man, it's sad, but I gotta co-sign it, man. Clay put gasoline on everything and told Ray to Devontae, I know I get like this every now. Ray's my guy though. He knows how I get. You know, he'll be on in a minute.
All right. I'm gonna cut him off. Don't worry. I'll get mine back.
I'll be like this. So I apologize, bro.
Cool.
Let's see. 2 Cents says spending all this time arguing and being right and being missing on all the gem sports has to give 100%, man. Too Rich said 2 Cents, you be on the sports knowing they are nothing but PBC fan page. Yeah, man.
So
yeah, man.
The question I'm having is they've been
Salute
talking about
Rich in the building too. Rich, I'm going to send a link because I want to talk to you because you came into a situation to where I was getting into it with somebody who's really just making up a whole nonsense. And that's another thing I hate about these channels. You try to defend something and put something into perspective, and you start looking like you mad at the other fighter, like you hating on the other fighter. That's what's toxic about these damn spaces. I have no issues with Tank Davis. Think he's a great fighter. I don't think Tank Davis is ducking Shakur Stevenson, but because I'm defending Shakur Stevenson, because I'm giving accountability to Tank, and I'm not giving it to him in a way where, and it's funny because I'm not giving him the accountability in a way to show that he's ducking. I'm showing these guys, lay off Shakur because you don't know that Tank wants his fight next. He hasn't sent the contract out. He has a game plan that you guys might not be tapped into. And what does that turn into? I'm going to tell you what it turns into because it's funny. What it turns into is what they think I'm describing when I'm saying Tank is the one responsible for making this fight happen. By saying that, these guys are so small-minded, they say I'm describing a duck. So what's interesting is a lot of Tank fans out here, a lot of casual Tank fans who don't understand how to be a fan of Tank really think Tank is ducking, right? So when I say Tank is the one who's supposed to send the contract out, what did this guy I spoke to today say? He said to me, if Tank didn't send the contract, why didn't Shakur Stevenson tell Kenny Ellis and Calvin Ford, your man ducked me? I said, why would he say that? Maybe he's not ducking him. Maybe they have another game plan. No, why? You know why? Because what I described is a duck to him. And that's why it's so important to sell the idea that there's been an offer sent over to Shakur Stevenson, and that Shakur Stevenson hasn't turned away the offer. It's their own minds working against them, and they're trying to project their thoughts onto you, right? They're trying to project, so that's why everybody's putting the pressure on me. Just call Tank a duck. You riding the fence. That's our community misrepresenting. That's our community, not misrepresenting, representing a lacking critical thinking skills, a lack in education and understanding on how to hear information and process it. They saying right now that Coach Calvin Ford and Kenny Ellis confirmed on a channel that Tank sent Shakur Stevens an offer and he rejected the offer. He priced himself out. They're saying that right now. Why? Because they heard Calvin Ford and they heard Kenny Ellis say that if a fight doesn't happen, it's not going to be because of them. It's going to be because of the other guy. So immediately they registered that as, they sent him an offer. So if this fight doesn't happen, we're supposed to point our energy at Shakur Stevenson. They gathered all of that. From that meeting. They don't have the critical thinking skills and the ability. They don't have the ability to take context from a statement, understand what it means, and process it the right way. So now they're spreading through the whole entire YouTube algorithm that there's an offer sent to Shakur Stevenson. He priced himself out, asked somewhere around $30 million. He wanted the same deal Ryan Garcia got. That's why this fight is not happening. It's crazy. That's crazy. Anyway, my bad, bro.
It's all right. Let me just shout out my boy that sung the song Chopped and Screwed, because that's what they keep doing, everything that's being said out here in every interview. They're taking the pieces and bits that work for them and they're leaving everything out. I literally heard the same thing mentioned to BOUT. And it's crazy that I'm getting onto BOUT because I'm actually really just getting kind of lame of the Tank in Shakur's situation, where they're going to do the same thing. Why did he go after Bud? Why is he not fighting Bud? Why is he fighting Karen Karkas and he already fought him? Blah, 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 blah. They're going to keep doing this. And it's because now Boots is going to be the victim, but they cheer for Boots and hate Bud. So we're going to see how this moves. And we're going to see how the projection is. Because in Hoodrich, thank God you're here. You know what I mean? Salute. Mm. When Tank was fighting people that people didn't believe, and this is not me saying this is the fans that were going against him. I'm just hearing everything, right? When they were saying that, Tank didn't fight nobody, his resume was this, he just picked picked whoever, and Tank said, hey, I just fought whoever they put in front of me, and that was it. So when he was saying it, it was all good. Tank can fight whoever he wants. I heard that on the channel before. Tank ain't got to answer to nobody. Tank just does what he wants to do, which I understand, okay, respectfully. But now we get to the point where we got Shakur, who's moving the same way. He's got the same energy. He can't chase the bag, but Tank can chase the bag. You know what I mean? It was, he chasing. He don't care about belts. He can chase the bag. He's the biggest fighter. You know what I mean? He's selling out pay-per-views. Shakur ain't doing none of that. Give him a chance. We have no patience. Instant gratification. You just mentioned that, right? So then we move to a whole nother part of the whole conversation, Clay, where you said about the casual fan base. The casual fan base has looped into this world of, like you said, debates and whoever has the mute button, whoever can throw you in the back, whoever can talk over top of you because it's their show and say that you're disrespecting them, and they start calling you names. And they feel that they are owed the respect from their crowd because they're able to shut somebody up that disagrees with them because they worship yes, that's the word I'm going to use. They worship another fighter. That's what it is. They don't like the fighter. They worship him. They think Tank walks on water. They think Tank can make things turn to gold. They think Tank is doing everything but what he can do, because Tank ain't say nothing. Tank just says he sits there at the table, feeds his family, works out at the gym, talks to his coaches. Who you guys got lined up for me? I'm going to fight him. That's what I heard him say. And then I hear his people say, hey, man, we looking at this guy. Shakur ain't bringing nothing to the table for us right now, man. Hold off, little bro. We got you. That's what I heard. And that was in their interview. Where did they get that? They sent them an offer from that. Where did they get this from? And they only got it because they only heard the point of, if you didn't, like you said, if he doesn't take the fight, it's not on us. Yes, they're saying in the time that they do choose to pursue the time frame of a fight. They're not pursuing the fight, or you would have heard it already. Tank is not shy about making these fights. Tank has never been a person that's been shy to call out his opponents. He makes the announcements. And like I said, the chain of 135-pounders right now is thin, Clay. There's not that many fighters to fight right now. They all been fighting each other. They've been on different networks. They're all tired and going up to 140 to fight Ryo. Why? Because he beat the nemesis that Tank had. He's not even a real nemesis. He's just a bag. And he beat him. You know what I mean? So now we got to go fight this guy. But then the whole fan base was saying, and this is not Tank. Just let me be clear. Fan base, he can't go to 140. Coach Calvin said he ain't going to 140. Coach Calvin said this, and this. Oh, Devin too big. Oh, he ain't going back to 140. Ryan got to come down and fight at 136. They got to do a catch weight. This is the fan base, right? But now we get to a point where now he wants to go up to fight for another belt at 140 to become the champion there to try to lure Shakur up. I heard somebody say that in the chat, which is crazy. If that's what y'all think the plan is, yo, that's insane. Tank said he wants to clean up 135 and unify all the belts. I take that man for his word. He's never lied to us. Yes, he's trolled a few times. He's going to 40, bro. Yo, Conor Ben, let's go. Let's get it in. Yeah, he trolled us a little bit. He got some sweat going, had us all anxious. But at the end of the day, we're all missing the point that nobody knows what this man is thinking. Nobody knows what his team is thinking until they announce it. So let this man on the other side that wants to fight Tank, and Tank said he's on the list, let that develop and marinate to what it is. At that point, we'll get there. I'm really done with this conversation. Literally, I really want to talk about something else because today is just a whirlwind of yesterday and a guy accepting the fight with a guy that came off a loss, and they're talking about he got knocked out, bro. He got stopped. It was a stop.
And there's a lot of moving parts to that. I mean, it just. Yeah. Another thing is Turkey, doesn't have a reputation for putting together like cherry pick fights, not good matches. The matchmaking's been pretty good over there, and that's not to say that this fight is going to be competitive or not be competitive. But Joe Cordina before this fight was first of all, he's a favorite in that fight that he lost. That was an upset in that fight, right? There was also a very heavy late shot that was delivered to Joe Cordina that was after the belt. He got hit heavy, never gained his legs back. But I'm not here to make excuses for Joe Cordina or anything like that. All I'm saying is the misinformation or miseducation of a lot of these spaces is profound. It's profound to say the least. They get upset when you talk like this. They get upset when I get up around them because they immediately feel intimidated and they want to attack and tear it down because they feel like that. I believe it's because they feel like an exposing is about to happen, right? That a conversation is going to get deep into a sport that they don't know a lot about, and they want to keep the conversation in a certain bracket. They want to keep it, they want to contain it in this area, this casual area that they're able to manage in a way to where they can continue to make the content and they can continue to sound like pundits or experts, credible experts in the space. And as soon as you start to reach out and start talking about different things, they want to attack you. They have no interest in it. You know what I mean? They have no interest in it because they're not interested in boxing. They just found a space that they can make money on and be very surface level. But what's happening is, as channels like this and the other channels like Greg Hackett, a lot of these guys out there, I'm not going to go down the list, but as their lights shine and grow and get bigger, their lights get darker. That's how they feel. They get darker because the shock value content that they're giving, the shock value, F you, the hell with you, SMD. Yeah, you don't know. That shock value becomes a little less. The people are becoming desensitized to it, and they're not able to keep up with the appetite for smoke. Shout out to Abdullah Mason. The appetite for smoke that they've gotten their fan base to become accustomed to.
Right.
And then what happens is they'll fade away. It's a temporary thing. boxing eventually will have to come back to be the foundation of what you're doing. And if you're not able to come back to that foundation in a strong way, while other channels are popping up that are actually showing up with that energy, you're gonna, in the long run, we'll see what happens in the long run.
Real. And what's his name? Adam Hurley. Thank you for joining the channel, bro. I mean, when we drop the link, you more likely can come up and prove and say your points.
Right now, Hoodrich.
Yeah. And Hoodrich is a part of the fan base, not fan base, but part of the gym over there, Upton Gym. So he's up here. He's saying the same things. He supports what we're saying. We're not knocking. Nobody's taking things back in over here, bro. You know what I mean? We're just trying to tell the fans to slow down. But you're more than likely to come up here and explain yourself. That'd be cool.
Yeah, you see that, Jory, right? He said, boy, they're jumping on Greg right now. Yeah, they're trying to, and I wish I can get a message out to that guy. I don't really have an open line of communication with him like that. I can get some information to him, but I really I'm praying that he's able to shake off this nonsense that people are trying to pull him into and recognize that man is also another great in the space, man. He is super informative, super unbiased, super experienced, incredible in the space, man. And a lot of these guys who are trying to troll him right now and throwing shots at him, they're just trying to pull him off that space that he's in and drag him into something dark that they're in, where he's just going to end up, he's going to end up slapping somebody, bro. He's going to end up slapping the fire at somebody.
Let me give a big shout out to the JBT, just boxing talk, fellas. Big shout out, because I see y'all out there really trying to make this movement happen. There is a few of you I see on other channels, and they get very wishy-washy with their conversations, and they don't keep it down the middle. But at the end of the day,
I'm hoping for sure.
But at the end of the day, what's happening is they're believing in their points and they're speaking everything truthfully. So on that note, I just want to shout you guys out, JBT. You guys are really out there trying to make moves in the boxing game. Thank you.
Yeah. So who's JBT?
Just boxing talk. That's if you ever see hashtag JBT, they're just really basically doing what they're trying to do. What we're doing. Oh yeah, they're trying. I'm not even say that because that sounds like they're copying off of us. That's not what I mean. What I'm saying is they're a team trying to just deal with boxing talks and keep it conversational, not having arguments, debates, cursing out people's mamas and things of that nature. Just basically talking boxing. You know what I mean? Even if you agree, be gentlemen. Disagree, you be gentlemen about it. That's what they're trying to roll with, and it's cool. I respect that channel. Hardcore over here right now. That's over here. Jory Finks of Hardcore Boxing. Yeah, he's on the JBT too, man. They doing their thing. I'm telling you.
No doubt. Hold on one moment. I'm about to pull Hoodrich into the building.
Absolutely.
Salute, Hoodrich. What's good, family? How you? How's everything going over there?
Salute, man.
Salute to you, my bro. Long time no here, man. I know you've been busy out here.
Good, man. I'm driving right now.
No doubt. Yeah, you see me. You came in early.
Before you go, Clay, you know, I got to show him the new logo, you know, because he always be clapping at my logos. So I'm going to put my screen down and see what he say now, because it ain't about nobody but me.
Okay.
Yeah, no Tank, no Dev, no nobody, bro. Just keep it at 100.
No, man, like y'all. I mean, bro, y'all can rap whoever y'all want. I don't be tripping about that, bro. The only thing that get me is like when like people be saying, "Oh, he ducking him, Shakur ducking him, Tank ducking him." They both said they not ducking each other.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, look, Hoodrich, right? Like you came in today, and I saw him come in the chat, and he said, "Hold up, what, Claymore? What are you talking about?" Right? And I always end up on these sides of the conversation because when you try to educate people as to what's going on, and really give them some perspective, not even educate, right? Because who am I to educate? Like I could be wrong. It's just an opinion, right? But when you try to give them some foundational facts as to why you have an opinion or why you're trying to get people to just calm down, because that's what it comes down to, right? Like neither one of them have to be ducks in this situation. Fights happening at the right time, right? with the right promotion is important on the success of the fight, on the sellability of the fight, right? On the pay-per-view numbers, on the people that's going to pack out the building. And it's not far-fetched in my opinion, and you let me know if I'm crazy. It's not far-fetched in my opinion that Tank would rather the fight between him and Shakur Stevenson get the best promotion possible, get the best eyes on it possible. I don't think he wants to fight Shakur Stevenson as a replacement fight, if that makes any sense. Like, that guy couldn't make it, I'm just going to throw you in there. I think they would rather throw a campaign behind that fight. Marketing, press conferences. Let's go ahead and do something in New York. Let's do something in Baltimore. Let's do something in Atlantic City. Let's do something in LA. Let's get the whole entire community involved, because everybody wants to see this fight more than probably any of the fights on his list of to-do fights, right? Out of all 6 fights, this is probably the fight that everybody wants to see the most. Why take this as a last-minute replacement? You know what I'm saying? When we can build this fight up to something. And I'm saying it's not far-fetched that Tank's team or Tank himself hasn't spoken to Shakur already and been like, listen, bro, we going to do this fight. You already know we're going to do it. You a WBC champion. I'm a WBA champion, but not right now. We're going to put the right promotion behind this fight. Right now, we're going to find somebody to replace Lomachenko's ducking ass. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get that fight out the way. But our fight, we have a plan for it. Amazon might have a plan for it. PBC might have a plan for it, where they're advising Tank like, oh, no. We're not going to miss out on the payday that's going to come with this. We can sell this fight the right way. Do not use him in this fight right now. Get somebody else. All these things could be part of the things that are going on and moving this vehicle. And everybody's just so short-sighted. And as I said earlier, reaching out for instant gratification, that they just ready to point fingers and call people ducks, which is all good. But when you start making stuff up, I heard Tank sent him the offer and he priced himself out, asking for Ryan Garcia. Who told you this?
Exactly.
And these are
and then they hit you with the sources, like the sources. Who is your sources, bro?
Oh, they'll tell you Kenny. They'll say Kenny and Calvin. They saw Kenny and Calvin say it on an interview. That's who the source is. They'll say Kenny and Calvin did it in an interview, right? So they have no ability to rip context from what Kenny and Calvin are saying. Kenny and Calvin aren't announcing fights. They're just letting it be known that as far as they're concerned, everybody can rest assured if a fight is not made, it's not going to be because of them, because they're looking to fight everybody on that list. It's going to be because somebody probably priced himself out. That doesn't mean they sent an offer to Shakur and Shakur priced himself out. They're just letting you know, don't worry, these fights are going to happen. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what they'll say. They'll tell you, and you know, like, let's say you pop up on the screen and you go, listen, man, I'm friends with the family. I know what's going on over there. As far as I know, Tank didn't send an offer yet. That's not what it is. Neither one of these guys are duck. You know what they'll say? Who's this Hoodridge good dude, bro? We don't know him. He could be just lying. You know what I mean? This dude's probably just a lie. They'll discredit even Tank closest. They'll discredit you just to keep their argument floating on top. It gets crazy.
Right.
It gets crazy,
bro. Like, if you're from Baltimore, you know, bro, it's crazy, bro. Like, to the point, I took a break from YouTube, bro, because there's so much bull crap going around. You feel me?
Yup.
Like, bro, like the whole YouTube community is beefing about Tank, Shakur, Boots, and Bud. Like, bro, y'all is not. First of all, y'all don't even know them personally to be beefing about this. And Southpaw, bro, he be doing too much, bro. Like, I'm sorry to name drop, but he be doing too much, bro. Greg gonna knock his ass out. I'm telling you.
Yeah, he will.
I know Greg about to get him. I don't think he realizes, and maybe I don't know how he feels about it, but it was inevitably going to happen. He was inevitably going to hit a wall. He was going to push the buttons of somebody who really got the time for him. You know what I'm saying? The problem is the people who you've been messing with don't got the time for him. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, he finally bumped into somebody who's willing to scratch some time off for him. Like he said, I'm gonna make some time for you, bro. I ain't gonna hold you, bro. Like, I'm focused on you. He met somebody who's what's the word? They say he's OTM. You know what OTM means? He's one track minded. He's one track minded. You know what I'm saying? When he gets his eye focused on something, it's hard for him to take the tension away until he gets that justification, until he gets that dopamine feeling, until he satisfies that hunger that he got. He's going to become overly indulgent in the situation, and he's met somebody who looks like that's what
Yeah,
it is.
man, yeah. And like, bro, a lot of people think his record is something, bro. He fought from 135, 140, 147, 160, 168, 154 to heavyweight, bro.
175.
Yeah, bro, like, bro, and to catch him in the streets. I'm telling you, I know Greg. You feel me? Like,
that's what's up.
It's gonna be bad for him, man. Let me bring in Too Rich in the building, man. Salute Too Rich in the building. How you doing, family?
Yeah, man, what's going on, Clay and Ray and Hood Rich and Panel? Yeah, but you know, Greg Hackett fought Jerry Hurd. And Jerry Hurd had some good things to say about him. So he didn't land nothing big on him. He just kind of outboxed him, but you know, he didn't hurt him, and then you know.
Yeah, he's legitimate. He's legitimate for somebody who don't box. They don't want to play. You know what I mean? He's not the guy to try. And Greg, it's just Greg is willing, and that's the difference between him and a lot of other. There's people out there, multiple people out there who can give Southpaw the business. I'm telling you, Mill City will eat. You know what I'm saying? To eat dude's breakfast, milk and box. You know what I'm saying? But Greg is just one of those guys that you shouldn't. You just kind of hit the hornet's nest. You kind of just kicked the hornet's nest, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. You kind of played yourself. We'll see how it turns out, but it's not. You know what I mean?
He feels safe, bro. He feels safe because he in Chicago. He never gonna leave Chicago. That's why.
But you heard Greg already said it. He already said they already tried to talk to him. They trying to put a fight together. He had to. You know what I mean? They like. they down to go, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Let's meet up at a gym locally. Greg's like, I know people out there with gyms. We gonna make it happen. He's letting them know you ain't getting out of this. Like,
salute right hand.
He said, if you make me have to find you, it's gonna be crazy. He was like, the best bet you got is just let's show up somewhere, let's put gloves on, let's just handle this business the right way. Because if you make me have to go out my way,
Illinois, correct. He's in Illinois, not Chi-Town. You got that right, 2 cents.
Yeah.
Shout out to Blue Blood. Sorry, let me just give some shout outs to people that entered the building. Shout out to Blue Blood Sports. Shout out to right-handed down. Shout out to somebody else came in.
My God,
too. And Adam Hurley, second mention. Shout out to you. Yeah, so when y'all get done, I want to actually run down WBC list for you guys, and I want to give you guys some potentials and see if I can get some understanding from you while you're on the panel. Just let me know when y'all.
Yeah.
No doubt. But Blue, I don't know, Blue, you busy? If you busy, you busy. But otherwise, I'll send the link out for you if you want to pop up. I know how it be. But Too Rich, you wanted to build on something, or
about this, you know, the Tank situation. Hey, it's a duck, man. It's let's look at it like this. You know, a person could duck just like Lomachenko did, and it be strategic. Tank has a 6-fight deal. He's into the second fight. Are you gonna put it all at risk on the second fight? If I'm Tank's team, that wouldn't be smart to advise him to do that. With all that money to be made, you know, from
nothing, I promise you, they don't care about none of that. They not ducking nothing, bro. You can be a welterweight right now, and bro, they not ducking nothing, bro. I ain't even gonna say welterweight.
Look at it like this. I kind of judge a fighter by how the team move them. And what I'm saying is, if you got Tank, who I know they say he can box, but for most of us, he's a knockout puncher. Who do you match Tank up with? Well, the worst matchup for a knockout puncher is a boxer. And for a boxer, the best matchup is a knockout puncher.
Right.
You know, that's just matchmaking. Okay, so at 135, Devin was undisputed. 1 fight for legacy, 1 fight for undisputed. They didn't take that fight. Bad style matchup. Well, Shakur here now, who may be even a better boxer. This a bad style matchup. If you're gonna take that risk, you're gonna take it a little later on in the contract. I don't think that would be not smart. I think that would be smart to go ahead, get some fights. I don't know who he's gonna fight, but it's money to be made. You got to think about it. He's the cash cow. At this point, he's really not a dog. He's a cow. He's a cash cow. You need to find another cow to put him in there with. Ryan Garcia was a cow. Okay, where are the other cows at? I don't see any other cows, so I don't know who he gonna fight. But you got to put him in there with the right matchup.
Bro, like I ain't gonna lie, y'all think Shakur don't bring nothing. Shakur got a fan base, bro. So he a cow, and
No,
I
what he
don't,
said,
bro.
what he's saying is Shakur is probably the biggest bag out of all 6 fight. He's the biggest bag. He's the biggest fight that's gonna make the most money. Why? It's kind of like what I was saying earlier a little bit. Like why take Shakur as a replacement fight? Like, you know what I mean? Like why take Shakur as, you know what, Loma couldn't make it, so you jump into it. Nah, bro. The fight with Shakur is a fight. Let me kick it with the bros. Let me make my drink. All right, bro. Just give me the word and I'll send it out. Matter of fact, I got you, bro. You know why I'm going to send it already. I'm going to send it to your email right now as I'm speaking to you. But yeah, but Shakur is the bag, right? Like he's the style, he's the dancing partner, right? He's the dancing partner. He's the guy who's going to give him the best chance at getting towards the money that he got with Ryan Garcia.
Right.
For sure. Yeah, for sure. I
All
agree,
right, so
bro.
it's like, you know what it's like. Let me tell you what it's like. Hood Rich, it's like you got that work, right?
Yeah.
You got that. You know what I'm saying? You got that 85 shit, and you just like, I'm not finna just throw this away. I'm not just finna just give this away like it's that other shit, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get this other shit up right quick, get this shit up out the way, and then I'm gonna boom them over the head. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna boom
Clay,
them
I
over
know
the
what's
head.
up with you, Clay, bro. I know what's up. You're a
You feel what
reformed
I'm saying?
man. I know, yeah.
Just keeping it 100 with you, like just give some
Yeah.
picture to understand that it's chess, not checkers. You know what I'm saying? It's not about fear. It's not about I'm scared. It's not about ducking. It's about nah, bro. Y'all not gonna take this away from me. I had a game plan. When Tank just secured a $240 million deal, right, with Amazon. You don't think there's a game plan on how they reaping their money back? How Amazon plans on? You don't think they've sat down and strategized and shown Amazon how they plan on getting that money back to Amazon? Like literally shown it to them. Like businessmen sat down and was like, this is how we gonna do it.
Hold on.
This fight, then this fight.
I was told Amazon didn't give them any bread. That's what I was told.
I don't know. However the deal works, he just secured a big deal.
$50 million
I know that.
for 7 fights.
Yeah. Thank you. He secured a big deal.
I know that's what it is. I literally said that, and I actually got somebody argue with me who told me that there was no bread. No, I was like, bro, y'all don't realize how this works. Like, they put the money up, and then they get their return on investment. What are you talking about? That's what the networks do. That's
You gotta make it back somehow, right?
I know. So I was just laughing because somebody really tried to debate me on that, and I just like whatever.
Bro, they would debate you about anything, bro. They would debate you why they would debate you why the color of your hat is green, bro. Literally.
You're telling them the green hat. You're gonna be like, why is it green? You say it's green because you identified as green. That's your personal opinion, brother. That is not green. We don't know that. Show me why it's green. Who invented green? Exactly how was green? Like Jesus, bro.
They debated me on how to wash chicken.
We can't even get to the conversation because I gotta sit here and prove to you that my hat is green, as clear as day, that everybody sees is green. I gotta make this argument as to why my damn hat is green. You just in confrontational, indifferent, brother.
Yo, I had to snatch their card. It was like, yo, you don't wash chicken when you cook it. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Yes, they look. That's how the debates be for real. Like it's crazy, right?
It gets crazy. It gets crazy. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's strategy. The bottom line is we don't know the answers, but what I can tell you is there's a lot of reasons as to why this fight could be not happening outside of a fearful duck.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like we can go into many reasons as to why this fight isn't happening out there without having to discredit a fighter and call him out and make it something that it's not, when both fighters have a whole different approach and game plan on how this fight is supposed to come together. When there's a game plan and strategy on how this fight is supposed to look when it happens. When it happens, it's going to look a certain way. It's going to have a certain kind of promotion to it. It's going to have a certain kind of press conference. It's going to have a certain kind of stadium. Now, maybe not this stadium. He's supposed to be performing at what, T-Mobile? Maybe they're like, nah, we already done locked down MGM again. We already done locked down the Sphere, or we already locked down the spot in Atlantic City because we want the guys to come from Jersey and from Baltimore and show up inside this building and pack this building out.
That'll be dope. That'll bring a lot of people there, man. That'll be a big fight. I was thinking that. I was actually gonna mention
things to be happening. So many.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. Heat, bro. I talked to him about 3-4 days ago, or 5 days ago. One of them, bro. He wants Shakur, bro. Like he want him sooner than later. Because if he waited, you feel me? He might develop something. He want him now, but I get what y'all talking about. Everybody want him to fight everybody in one night, and it don't work like that. But he definitely wants Shakur. It's a reason why he wants Shakur too, bro.
So
A deep reason.
There's a movie called Digstown. You should go check it out. Yo, you can't fight everybody in one night.
Hey, well, let me ask you a question then. Why is Tank so quiet? You know, the good thing about YouTube is that, you know, as fans, we can interact with some of these boxers. They're on these lives and on these channels. And
That's how he move,
I
bro.
think but let me finish it. What Tank, what his fans, like some of these erratic channels, they're going crazy because they have nothing to go on. All they have to go on is Shakur statements, whatever Shakur say, because Tank's not speaking. You see what I'm saying? They're waiting on their leader to tell them something. So if he ain't gonna say something, they go in protection mode. You know, they're trying to give reasons for him. They're trying to make up reasons for him. So if Tank would just say something, you know, give him something to go on.
Right.
That's how he move though, bro. Like you only, bro. Like if you meet him, bro, you gonna understand why. But, bro, that's how he move, bro. Like you only hear from him when fights. You feel me? That's the only time you gonna hear. Bro, he don't like this spotlight. He don't like it. He don't like being famous, bro.
So is it safe to say then that if he's not talking, there's not a fight coming? Does that make sense?
No, I mean, 50-50.
You understand what I'm trying to say, Rich? You get it?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like his silence lets you know that he doesn't have a fight he's planning. Like his silence lets you know that there's not an offer out there, or there's not something going on right there in what you're talking about. Because as soon as something's going on, he'll say something, even if it's quickly, even if he says it and pulls it off Twitter, he's gonna say something.
Right. Well, he does that even now. Every once in a while, he'll speak out. But what I was going to say is, if we haven't noticed, Tank has transformed who he was. When he was running around with AB and doing all the things he was doing, Tank was a wild boy. He was out there, you know what I mean, making noise, talking, keeping himself busy, getting himself known. And what he learned was to back up from that spotlight, not to be out there and having people, you know what I mean, talk about him. He'd be able to walk in public without people really, I mean, they'll recognize him. Right. You know what I mean? But kind of like he can't go out there. Yeah, he can go out there and blend in with the crowd because he's not putting himself out there to be somebody that people just recognize right away. So he's doing the right thing. He wants to be amongst the people. He does things for the community. He does a lot of things. Tank is he just did the book backpack giveaway for the kids. So you know, he's a really good guy. And I know that because, you know what I mean, like I said, I know some people too. And it doesn't necessarily mean because he's not throwing stuff out there that he's being quiet. It just means that he's laying low. He's almost like a lion, you know what I mean? He's on the hunt. He sits in the brush and he's waiting for the prey to come, and then he pounces. So when that time comes, we'll see it. As far as like Shakur is the total opposite. Shakur loves the spotlight. He likes the fame. He likes the name. He likes, you know, and then what happened?
Look where he at though. Like look what he getting.
Right. And now because of that situation, you have you have the people jumping on Shakur and telling him, hey man, where's that energy at now? Because Shakur took a high road and said, you know what? Well, we know this fight ain't happening right now. Whatever discussions they did have amongst each other must have been, as Clay said earlier, hey, we're not going to give you this fight right now. Lay low. So he stopped talking about it, and he's looking for other options, but he's getting his back kicked in, leading me to say I'm going to go down this WBC list so I can shine some light on it. If you guys are all right with that, real quick.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we have number one under Shakur was William Zepeda, which he tried to make that fight, and that was supposed to be the fight. That's moved out to February. Ray Mortala. He's supposed to be, I believe he's supposed to be fighting Keyshawn Davis for the spot. Edwin De Los Santos, I think I heard a lot of people say they don't want to see that fight no more. It was such a boring fight, low punch count. It's a boring fight. It could still be a fight, but he's also with PBC. Mark Chamberlain, busy. Andy Cruz just came off a fight. Zoro Abdullayev, about to fight. Frank Martin, moving to 140. Gustavo Lemos, somebody mentioned him. I think he's at 140. Antonio Perez only has 10 wins and doesn't look like he's a person that I would ever want to see Shakur fight, because it looks like that's going to be worse than Joe Cardina. Then we have Sam Noakes. He's about to fight. Claudio Denif. He's about to fight. Joe Cardina, number 13. That's who's fighting. 14 and 15, guys that just came off of losses also. Artrum Harrington, he just fought him. And then we have George Kambosos Jr. So where are the fighters that he's supposed to fight if we look at this list? See, our point is everyone wants to throw all these things out. He can't unify because Loma's not fighting. Tank is actually, moving in a different direction. And Dennis Baranchak is about to have a fight in December, so he's all set on his fights. So where's this fight supposed to come from? He's supposed to from another sanctioning body? That goes against the whole rules of the sanctioning body. I heard somebody say, bring up what they said yesterday. Bring up Kid Austin. Kid Austin can't fight him. He's not a WBC ranked fighter. They're not going to let him fight that fight. He can fight him, but it won't be for the belt. So then it's just a waste of time for Kid Austin. It doesn't make sense.
The way I look at it like this. I go ahead.
If anything, it's a good move, but he should have tried at least get that get back though. You feel me? Even though he ain't lose, but just to get that smut off his name for Edwin. But
you also got to think that is Turkey interested in that fight on that card Santos, because we have to understand that this fight is happening over there in Riyadh, and that no matter what everybody stateside wants to say about Joseph Cordina, that he has a following out there in Europe, in the UK. It's a bigger fight for them out there. It's not a fight for over here. If he was making a fight in Los Angeles or it was a Riyadh season out here, he would take that into more of consideration, right? But it's in Turkey. So why would Turkey, my goodness, it's in Riyadh. Turkey's throwing the fight. So why would Joseph Cordina holds the weight? If you look at that card, there's a high amount of UK fighters on there. And because UK fans are going to fly to Saudi Arabia to see this fight. You know what I'm saying? UK fans are people recognize this guy. We just don't understand that we don't know this guy because we don't watch UK boxing. Well, I watch UK boxing. I ain't gonna lie to you, but most people don't watch UK boxing. So it's not about the pay-per-views over here and people over here buying tickets. That card is not made taking us into consideration as far as what we want to see. Even let's be honest.
Okay, the way I look at it is like this: if you can't get the fight with Tank, the second best option is Zepeda. You can't get that fight to February. You're a top-ranked fighter, man. You gotta stay busy. Do not sit down and wait. Stay busy. Take this tune-up fight. Get your stay ready. Stay together for when the opportunity comes.
I agree with you 100% too, Rich. And another thing to take into consideration is that Shakur Stevenson hasn't signed with Eddie Hearn. He's not. Eddie Hearn is working almost like fight by fight, helping him out.
Rumor has it he has a 3-fight deal, multi-fight deal with Eddie Hearn, and he's hiding it.
Oh, I thought it was.
I'm about to be like, where'd you hear that at?
Oh, no, that's rumors. That's rumors.
Right, but listen, I will tell you like this. Let's say Shakur signed with Eddie Hearn, right? Let's say that happened. Is Eddie Hearn not known for allowing fighters to get out their contracts and make big fights? Didn't he let Devin Haney out of the contract with him to go over the top rank to make a fight with Kambosos twice against Lomachenko?
Yep.
Yeah, sure.
Didn't Eddie Hearn let out what's his name? What's my guy's name, bro? I was about to say Edgar Berlanga, but he didn't let him out the contract. They actually were able to cross promote and put that fight together.
Munguia?
Cool.
Munguia?
No, not Jaime Munguia. No, Munguia was over there with Golden Boy. But yeah, no, but he stepped away. He stepped out the way of the of Devin Haney to make that Ryan Garcia fight, right? He allowed Golden Boy to take that over and let Devin Haney out the contract to make that fight happen. So it's not far-fetched. Everybody acts like the end-all be-all that this fight can't be put together if Shakur is working with Eddie Hearn, and it's just not true. Eddie Hearn is notorious and has already said it in interviews that he will step out the way for a big fight to be made. He won't allow his presence to stop a fight from happening, which is another reason why I respect Eddie Hearn. I know people don't want to respect him. That's cool. But at the end of the day, I've seen that man make sacrifices to take take out with Devin Haney to a fault, right? To the point where he had to draw a line in the sand with Devin. When Devin tried to get him to pay for that Sandor Martin fight, he said, nah, bro, you're going to sign to me for this time. I already stepped out the way for Ryan Garcia and missed out on that big payday. I already stepped out the way for you to fight Kambosos twice and Lomachenko. I've already done enough for you. You're going to sign to me now because he's taking such a loss. He's having a hard time convincing the multiple investors that they're over at the DAZN why they should sit there and keep on funding this kid's fight. And as soon as he gets a big fight, he leaves us and goes somewhere else, and we don't get to get none of that. We don't get to eat with the big show ever with him. You know what I mean? So the idea that that Eddie Hearn's presence is going to get in the way of this fight happening with Tank Davis is nonsense. Not to mention the fact that Tank Davis is the A side. He's a face of boxing. All Tank got to do is send the contract out, and the fight's going to get made. They're going to figure it out. He's the cash cow. He's not worried about those things. He doesn't care where you are. You want to be a top rank at your business. You want to be a matchroom at your business. All I know is when I call, you better answer, homie. You better figure it out. So whether that means coming over here to PBC, whether that means doing what I need you to do, you better do what I need you to do if you want to get this money. And Shakur is going to do that. Believe that. You'll see when the fight needs to be made, all the pieces are going to move around and this fight's going to get made. The pieces are just going to move in front of your eyes. Eddie going to step out the way. He going to become a free agent. He going to sign a 2-fight deal with PBC. He going to do something with, you know what I mean? He going to do whatever he got to do to get in position to take that fight. Period.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, who is Tank gonna fight then?
I don't know. Tank gonna have to drop that. I'm wondering. I heard a rumor that Tank might not fight on November 2nd. That they might push the date out. What do you think about that, Hood Rich? Is that what you're hearing? Is that possible?
Can y'all hear me?
I hear you now. Yeah.
Bro, he gonna fight. Honestly, bro, I think it's gonna be Loma, bro.
You think Noah's gonna come back to the table?
Yeah.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie.
You know who else I think it is, Rich, right?
Huh?
You know who else I think it is, right? Because they've been Clay gonna laugh at me, but you think I'm clowning. But you know who else I think it is? They've been trying to make this fight for a long time with Tank.
Who?
Chris Colbert.
You think Chris Colbert?
Gary Russell. If anything, Gary Russell, bro.
I was thinking that too, but you know what's so funny, right? Look how many
too much.
Look how many times the PPC.
Yeah, you did, Hood Rich. Yeah, you did. You better drink some water. This is what Tank be yelling at you. This is what he be getting at you about. Like, damn, bro.
Yo, look. I know you was gonna say that. That's why I was trying to.
I'm happy Hood Rich be dropping it on this channel.
Yeah, right. But just let you know that I know the PBC's been trying to make that fight for a long time with him. They didn't put Colbert in like multiple spots to make that fight happen, and 2 of them he lost. So we'll see.
Most definitely, man. We just got to start respecting these fighters' space, man, and just understand and being okay with, because there's so much boxing going on, man. Like, I hear the fans getting mad at Shakur saying that he's not saying Tank's name. Last time I checked, Tank hate when people say his name and clout chase to say his name. But they're so caught up. It's like they don't listen to even the fighter that they're a fan of. They don't listen to him. He don't like it. I think Tank right now is in a nice, peaceful place. Like, nobody's saying my name. Nobody out here clout chasing me, accusing me of nonsense. I'm loving it. That's what's up. And here come the fans. If he really want to fight, he need to call Tank out 20 times in a row and call him a duck and do all this stuff. Like, damn, I thought y'all were fans of Tank. We are. Why y'all not listening to what he likes and what he wants done? Why y'all not following suit? Why y'all making stuff up? I keep telling people the Tank.
We know you are. You down in DC. We know you pulling up, Jordan.
The guys who want to see Tank fight the most are the real Tank fans.
Right.
The fans who defend and always want to defend the reason for Tank not to fight are the biggest Tank haters. They just don't know it. You know, it's like the saying goes in the Bible. There's a saying that goes, "Beware of the preacher who he went." What is it? He went on the podium, whatever you call it, thought he was doing God's work, was what was really working for the devil. You know what I'm saying? Because he wasn't clear-minded of what he was doing. And a lot of these Tank fans,
I'll be right back. I'll be right back.
No doubt, family, no doubt. You know what I'm saying? So beware of these guys. Beware of these false prophets, bro.
Hey, well, let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
And I heard when Devin Haney was out, and a lot of people got on Devin Haney about Bill, talking whatever about Bill Haney or whatever. Do y'all think Coach Kenny Ellis is doing too much? He go on every podcast, every show. All he talk about Shakur. He talk about Shakur tooth getting knocked out. Shakur gonna get stopped, and if he don't make it 12 rounds, and then no contract gets sent, no offer get made, nothing gets made. So is that just a clout chase? They always accuse Shakur of using Tank name. We watched Kenny Ellis get a whole YouTube career off Shakur's name.
Hey, you know what?
I think they're having a good time. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think Kenny's having a good time, and Calvin's having a good time.
Let me put some perspective on that too. Just remember that when they did the coin flip, that Coach Kenny wanted Shakur. He wanted Shakur for a long time, so he's been trying to keep that name relevant in the game of Tank Davis. When we have to go back to that point, we know that Coach Kenny always wanted to fruition this fight to come. So he wants to fight. We all know that. So it's going to happen. I mean, it's just a matter of when. We heard Rich stated. Ariana, how you doing? Welcome to the chat. Just to let you know, Ariana, that may be a possibility, but I don't think Zepeda's on that list. If Zepeda's going to fight anybody, he's going to go the WBO route. He's going to get
Baranchek.
He's not going to move or fight Shakur. He's not going to fight.
My question is, where'd you get that information from? Like, why is it going to be those two guys? Because you said or, you didn't fill in the space on who the or was. That didn't come through. But where did you get the Zepeda information from?
Zepeda? Oh, no, Ariana. You hear what I said?
No, not you. Ariana. I'm asking Ariana, where did she get the Zepeda information from? She said it's either going to be Zepeda or somebody else. Where did she get that information from? Because that's what I'll be talking about.
De Los Santos. Again, there you go. So De Los Santos. We just heard Rich say that ain't happening, but you know what I mean? He's in the camp. So it could be De Los Santos. And De Los Santos would be a great fight. But Ariana, let me ask you a question. Are we going to give him the same energy that we're giving Shakur for fighting De Los Santos off of a loss?
Right.
That's just a good question for you.
Yeah.
That man ain't fighting over a year. Almost.
Yeah, there's a lot of options out there, man. You know what I mean?
It's just a question.
There's not a lot of options, but there's a lot of options. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I'll tell you what, man. Don't nobody know, because
exactly.
It ain't gonna work like that. That's not how he operates. He just doesn't do that. You know what I mean? He doesn't even do that with. Coach Calvin Ford said it as well, bro. He said it. I don't even know until he said something. He spoke on it before.
And Clay, I'm glad that you said that. Calvin said he don't know, right? And this is where the confusion happens at my end, because we both, and I'm pretty sure you heard the same thing I heard. We heard Tank also say out of his own mouth, I just fight who they put in front of me. My team makes the fights, I go fight them, right? But then we have Coach Calvin on the other hand saying that, yeah, we don't like this fight, we don't like that fight, we're going to make this fight for Tank. And then he goes on and says, well, Tank fights who he wants. He tells us who he wants to fight, we go get the fight. So it's like you got two ends of the spectrum here talking against who's making a fight. So is it Coach Calvin and these guys making a fight, or is it Tank making a fight? Like, there's a little confusion there when I hear both of them saying the same exact thing against each other.
Yeah. And I was actually working on a video, right? Because it just irks me every time I hear Coach Calvin talk. He talks about why the Errol Spence and Crawford fight shouldn't have been made. Basically saying it didn't even do more numbers than Tank and Garcia. And I'm like, okay, that sounds good until you put it in perspective. Canelo had a fight with Munguia, two Mexicans, first time in years. Canelo gonna fight a Mexican. It's hyped up, and that pay-per-view only did 500,000, 550. So Errol Spence and Crawford, two black fighters, outsold Canelo's Mexican fight. Right? And now when they tried to make a fight with all the other Mexicans, anybody not named Garcia, well, none of those fights sold more than Spence Crawford. And matter of fact, none of them sold more than Tank and Frank, which is two black fighters. So I think they gotta kill this racial narrative. You put two guys in there with two big names, you get a big fight. It don't matter what the race is, you know what I mean?
Right. What was the bag on that Tank and Frank fight? Because I heard different things.
What, the pay-per-view?
I really don't care, honestly. I really don't get into the whole money thing, but just out of curiosity.
You say the pay-per-view?
Yeah. No, the bag. I guess the pay-per-view, yeah.
Well, the pay-per-view did like 350. I think they're trying to scoot it up to 400 now, but it did 350 when Dan Rayfield. I posted a short on it, and Dan Rayfield said it did 350, and that Devin Haney and Garcia did 4 to 500,000.
Right, and it was a big deal about it, and they said that the Devin and Ryan Garcia fight was a flop, and it didn't really surpass.
Yeah,
I remember that argument. Okay, I just want to make sure because I thought it was less than that. I remember someone saying that it was less than that, and it moved up. But I just wanted to make sure.
yeah, but but I do think people gotta understand what matchmaking is. If we look at Abdullah Mason, right? He looks good, but we gotta understand they're building him as a fighter. So the fighters that he fighting, they putting, some guys in there he can get some work off on and build them up some. Well, that's what you do for a prospect. You matchmake. And if you understand about matchmaking, you'll understand why they don't put Tank in there with a good boxer. It's not that Tank can't win, but it's a risky fight. And you got to think Tank is still being advised by Al Heyman. Al Heyman got burnt by that confidence of Errol Spence. They're not going to be. They're going to take their time before they take a risk like that. Why do it when they can make money? That's the problem. They can make money without. Even though I think, my personal opinion is that Tank and Shakur is a big fight that would do pretty good on pay-per-view, better than what they think it'll do. But it's too risky. It's really just too risky. I think give it a little bit more time. See if Shakur get beat up a little bit out here. Everybody not quite sure exactly what Shakur gonna do or how he gonna look, and they're gonna buy their time a little bit. They playing the money game. It is what it is.
Right.
No doubt.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. All right. I hear you. If you want to, Rich, I put a little link in the private chat for you. That's what I see. I'm not saying that's accurate, but that's like the latest and greatest that I see up in the scene here. And even is the same numbers as on BoxRec. So I mean, that's why I said I heard two different things, but I'm just going to leave it there. I don't want to go into the chat with it because I don't want to make a big deal and create chaos because that's not really my thing. I don't like talking about people's numbers.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
It is what it is when it comes to that, right? It just comes down to
It
makes no difference. It's about the fight.
Yes, sir. Exactly what I was about to say next.
Let the money fall where the money falls, man. The best fight is what it's all about. And everybody showing up to a fight and buying the living daylights out of a fight isn't what makes the fight the best fight. You know what I'm saying?
It just means that they got the attention of casual fans to come into the building, which is a good thing. You know what I mean? Bringing more eyes to boxing, which is a good thing. Instead of us, celebrating that moment of us getting views and things of that nature, we kick the other fighter or the opponent or the guy that wants to fight this guy's back in and don't want to make the fights with him because we all talk about the bag. That's what I always say. Is it legacy or is it the capital?
The fight card that just happened 2 weeks ago with Turkey, people try to gauge the quality of the fight card based on the turnout of the turnout of fans that showed up to the fight or the amount of pay-per-views that were sold. That fight card could have had nobody in the building. It could have just been in somebody's backyard. That fight card was going to hold the weight it held because the quality of the fights that were on the card.
Correct.
Exactly.
The amount of tickets sold doesn't say the card was good or bad, or the amount of people who are interested in seeing it doesn't say the fight was good or bad. It's the fights that were either good or they were bad, and everybody could say the fights were good. It was a great card. It was a great card.
And on top of that, Clay, we had people that were in the arena, contacting us live, sending me live feeds of the arena, showing me what's going on, live video, bro. You know what I mean? As people are walking out. So at the end of the day, we have to honestly say, like, yo, that place was packed. We seen it with our own eyes. You know what I mean? Live on the video feed. We also have and the numbers that's released for that. People are saying that that's not true, and they fumbled the bag and they comped tickets. Well, guess what I got? Guess what information I got? Somebody got an account where you can get the tickets that are comped. They couldn't find tickets comped on that account. They didn't even have any. They had to pay full price for those tickets because they didn't have any available. So when people are stating these facts, they're only going by what they are used to seeing or how they are privy to seeing these things, and they start spreading these rumors and lies, which they have no backing. And then when they prove wrong in that, instead of apologizing to the public, apologizing to their fans in their chat, they move the needle and they talk about another thing that they could push and downfall the moment or the fight. You know what I mean? So that's crazy. So Jared Hurd took a draw tonight, Clay.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I definitely saw that, man. Look, man, when you outside of the ring for that long and you take that hiatus, the rust is there. And Jared Hurd just kind of showed that a little bit. Stayed on that jab, was trying to get a lot of was trying to walk him into shots, but you know, Jason Rosario was just really more of a dog than I think. You know, I mean, I thought that Jared Hurd would have been more of a dog, would have been like the old school Jared Hurd, but you could see he was very reserved in the way he was moving and the shots he was throwing. He was way more defensively minded in this fight, and you know, ended up being a draw because he did well. Now I don't say he did well, but you know, he didn't lose the fight, but the dog and Rosario, I think, just turned it into a draw kind of fight because Rosario was the one who was kind of pressing and trying to make something happen, where it seemed like Jared Hurd was trying to establish distance and keep distance and force Rosario to jump into something crazy, which Rosario was there to do, but he just wasn't able to be effective. You know, is Jared Hurd back though now? Are we ready to see him in some other conversations now, or is he just a pro? But yeah, I don't feel he's back.
This is what I'm going to tell you what's going to happen with Jared Hurd. He definitely has to take some lower risk fights, get his feet back, maybe climb into some type of competition, or just become a gatekeeper and try to hold off, you know what I mean, the young and up and coming fighters. He has a very good opportunity of doing that, you know what I mean, making somebody earn their spot in the ring, which is a good thing for him, because he'll get a nice payday, he'll stay busy, and it'll keep him going. It just looks like he just lost it. Like it looks like he didn't want to be there. Like at first he came out, he looked a little strong on his jab and things like that. He was landing good shots, and then next thing you know, he got hit a couple of times. I think early second round, he like fell back. It's like he went to a shell of himself, and he was not trying to compete. It just looked like he just lackluster. You know what I mean? Like he just found something that he hit before. Like the guy hit him hard, maybe knocked the memory back, and he was just like, "Yo, I don't want to be here." He needs to get that spirit back. It just looks like he lost the spirit of boxing. Maybe that, like you said, is just being out too long, and him thinking that he could recoup and come back. And it's just not the same, man. And I hate to see boxers go down that path. You know what I mean? It's like we were talking yesterday. We brought up a particular fight with Wilder and I almost called it Capri. I don't know why I almost called it Capri, but anyway, he brought up the fight with Wilder, and I was like, bro, I don't want to see Wilder in the ring. Chisora. And I was like, I don't want to see the fight, bro. There's no way I want to see that fight. I really want to see Wilder hang it up. And to the point is, I don't think Jared is ready to hang it up, but he definitely needs to be more of a gatekeeper style fighter. Maybe take some of these lower risk fights, and maybe some of the new guys, you know what I mean, just to stay busy, pad the resume up, you know what I mean? So when he retires, he has 80 wins and 17 losses or whatever the case may be, but it looks good. It looks better in the long run, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, he's a former champion. It just doesn't look great.
Yeah, he just stayed behind that jab tonight. He really stayed behind.
All right, Blue.
And was never able to walk
in. What's up?
I got you, Blue, for sure. Echo, what's good, brother? What's good, brother?
You want to talk about Jared Hurd?
You know, I noticed. For me, Jared Hurd just get hit too much, man. It's like he got the energy for the first minute and a half, and then he got on the back foot and just he put himself in the corner. I just didn't understand it, and I think that might be it for him. But I think he still could fight, but I don't never think he's going to be the Jared Hurd he was before.
Yeah, what was that weight class tonight that they fought at? Was that like 160?
I think it was 168. Let me double check.
I don't know. 168, you think so?
I think so. Let me just look.
Or was it even 154 even? I don't feel like it was 168.
It was middleweight. They're claiming 164. Yeah.
Okay, so it was a catch weight, but closer to.
It was last fight was 165, so I think he's super middleweight. But let me see what they say about the event. Let me see. Super middleweight.
It was okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, is he a fight? I mean, the super middleweight division seems like it's trying to get some traction.
Right.
It's trying to do some things.
And what I noticed is the middleweight division is starting to get some of the defectors from light heavyweight and 154, 160. These guys that just aren't making it well, and they feel that they move up, they have a better shot because it's getting like older people building the division. That's why I said like 168 look like it's not going to be that division. It's going to be light heavyweight because you got guys moving down, guys moving up, guys coming up into the division, and they're just all older fighters. You know what I mean? So it's almost like how like middleweight was. You know what I mean? All we had was a bunch of old fighters. That division is actually about to be fired too because you got a lot of those guys that are going to start moving up from 154. So that's going to be a lit division because the new guys are in town at 154, and why not move up and take the belts there because there's no one there. That's almost why I said I think Abdullah Mason has a better chance of moving to 140 and making some noise with everybody holding on to the belts trying to unify at 135. Go up there where the older talent is. Yes, there's some new guys. Of course, we know there's always new fighters everywhere, but you have a better chance of getting a title fight faster. Next year or two, he'll be in a title fight at 140. 135, that guy will be getting an interim title or intercontinental title. He'll, you know what I mean? We'll be lucky if we see him ranked with all the fighters.
No, 100%, man. I agree with you 100%, man. It's something to consider because I just think 135 is going to be tied up for a little while in the middle of this conversation with Tank and Loma and Shakur and even Dennis Berichek. All these titles, I think they're looking to unify and they'll be an undisputed champion hopefully by the end of next year.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully by the end of next year. If that happens, then it opens up opportunities for a Abdullah Mason to potentially get into certain conversations. But that's if everything goes smoothly. You know what I mean? You see how Loma carried it. He kind of threw a wrench very early into the process. Right. We'd have to see how everything else turned around. And then you got the Keyshawn Davises, the Andy Cruzes, the Raymond Moratalas, right? You got all these guys that are in the conversation that are going to want they're going to want to stake their claim in the game. Abdullah Mason may just end up getting stalled out, kind of like a Jerron Boots Ennis did at 147 when Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford were working out their differences, right? So we'll see how he decides to carry it.
Right. What do y'all think about Kid Austin?
Are we talking about the actual situation?
Well, if y'all first I would say as a fighter, with all the situation going on, I went back and looked at some highlights and to check on him, man. I'm trying to see where y'all rank him because his father's saying he's ranked number 2, so I don't hear much about him.
Can I go first?
Go ahead.
Where Roscoe at? He's a bump. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm not gonna say that. Kid Austin went at 130. Let's speak from there. Kid also was a great fighter. I think he was a great up-and-coming prospect. I think he was like 4-6-0, 4-0, 6-0 going up until he moved to 135. And then he started like knocking guys out like with aggression. No longer boxing, no longer trying to pad the stats a little bit and move his feet in the ring. He just became this aggressive fighter where he thought he could take these guys out and hit them and bully him in the ring. And he made a couple of matches where it wasn't. He got kind of head-butted a few times, got some illegitimate cuts that he didn't even need to have that can cause problems for him later. When Greg Hackett actually mentioned he's a Sean Porter type fighter, I was like, I can see that. You know what I mean? There's no jab there. He's a head down, forward moving, just slugger, almost a pit bull. You want to say Sean Porter, in and out type fighter. I see that. Kid Austin has a lot of things to work on. I think he needs to go back to basics like every fighter does and start working on the jab. The guy had a nice jab and he was able to fight. But I think coming up to the division of 135, the fighters got a little taller. So I think that was a problem for him going up. And I think he thought to get on the inside, he had to jump in and jump out, causing a lot of these issues. His dad, he did say he's number 2. I think he's number 2 in the WBA. Being ranked in the WBA number 2 doesn't solidify him being an opponent yet, though. For anybody, one, Oscar has to make that decision or that call. I don't think Oscar thinks he's ready for Tank Davis in that sense of him jumping in the ring with Tank. It's possibly he could be. I just said Oscar doesn't feel that way, or he would have made the fight happen or tried to make the fight happen. We may be surprised. That may be the fight we're looking at. You know what I mean? We don't know. But at the end of the day, we have to understand that Kid Austin has a lot of fundamentals, in my opinion, to work on before he's recognized as one of the elite fighters at 135.
Okay.
Let me just tap into that as well, because just to add on, because I agree with everything Ray said, right? I think that Kid Austin has a real, he started boxing when he was like 2-3 years old. He started competing, amateur wise when he was like 7-8 years old. He's been doing this for a long time. And sometimes you get a little overconfident in the position that you're in, and you start to take chances because you think you can take chances, because you think you're somebody who can move in a certain way. We can't mention Kid Austin without bringing up his father and the influence his father has in the way Kid Austin is approaching his boxing career right now. We saw him go from somebody in 130, early 135, who was boxing and winning these fights pretty handily, but then started to catch a bug or something as to how exciting the fights needed to become, right? And he wanted to gain a fandom similar to a Tank Davis, in my opinion, or fighters of that caliber. But he started taking chances, started jumping into shots, like Ray said, getting cuts, being in the ring with people he probably shouldn't have been in the ring with. I can't remember the guy's name, but it was this dirtbag fighter that he was in there that was just like headbutting them and hitting them with low blows and doing all kinds of things. I think he's being moved potentially incorrectly. Maybe he needs to be slowed down a little bit in the way he's getting moved. I agree with Ray when he says that, his development needs some attention, but I don't know if it's a development, Ray, all the way. If I'm willing to say it's a development that needs attention, or is it strategy and game plan on what kind of boxer he's going to be that needs attention? Because I think he has the ability to box. He has the ability to fight the right way. I feel like we've seen Kid Austin fight the right way before. We've seen him do this. It seems like this version of him that we're looking at right now is like this version that's willing to take a lot more risk. He needs to kind of be conscious and aware of that. What do I see him doing at 135? I see, depending on his mindset, I see him doing a lot of things at 135, being involved in a lot of big fights. But I can also say at the same time, if he's just headhunting, which is what I'm seeing him doing a lot, that he's risking, being somebody who could have been.
Is he a guy to be avoided, or is he, is one of those fights a side fighter would take?
Well, I say he got grit. People compare him to Sean Porter, right? They say he's like the new Sean Porter, which means that he's gonna make you fight. You can lose years off your career fighting Kid Austin, right? Like it is a risk fighting him. It is high risk, and he might be turning himself, or he might already be a fighter that has already become a high risk, low reward fighter until he gets a belt. He might be a fighter that has to, bring more to the table, maybe get some financing behind him, somebody who's willing to pay for his fights to happen in order for him to get involved in certain fights. And from what I understand, you listen to Floyd Schofield Sr., and he'll tell you that he's given everybody a lot of smoke in sparring, right? You see somebody like Martin Bacoli, who also earned himself a reputation for being a real hardcore sparring type of partner. And it's, people argue that he was ducked a lot, that he was kind of frozen out of the space because of heavy sparring sessions. So, high risk, low reward without the right reward, right? Without the right incentive there, whether it's a lot of money or whether it's some sort of title, he might be looked at it. I could see him being looked at it like that.
Right. And what I also want to mention too, Clay, and I think we left a very important piece out, is he has a lack. He doesn't show too much defense. It's like a lack of defense. He's so pro offense. He leaves himself opening. He leaves himself open a lot, and that's where the Sean Porter comment comes into play. The over aggression. This is why a lot of people say he goes in there like a barbarian instead of like a boxer. And these are the things that are going to make him weak. That's why I said high risk, low reward. Yeah, he could probably come in there and clip you, but he also is taking the risk of getting hit while he's doing that. Hence why he has all the cuts on him, the headbutts and all those things of that nature. Because Floyd has actually, I can back up. I forgot. I turn my mic up. Floyd has a lack of discipline, and it showed in his last fight. I think he had when he said that he didn't even listen to his corner. He just went in there to beat the guy up, and the guy sitting there wrestling him in the ring, MMA, knees, headbutts, throwing him around, all types of stuff. But he just didn't care. He just wanted to keep going in there and just punching. He didn't care about nothing else. Just wanted to punch. It was like Bam Bam from the Flintstones, bro. Like he had no degree of you can't hurt me type thing. You know what I mean? Like it was just crazy. So when we see somebody fighting like that, how can we take them seriously as being a ranked opponent? He is ranked due to whatever circumstances, maybe lack of people in the division, maybe whatever the case may be. But we see him ranked there. But who do I see him beating at the elite level? Not too many people.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think it's a fight. He's just a fighter. The way he's fighting right now, you could just get hurt by accident. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to consider all that. Like fighting him, you can catch a headbutt. You can headbutt him. You can get a cut that you don't necessarily. You can get hit with a straight bullet. You know what I'm saying? With a crazy over the hand right. And it's just like if he's not bringing no jewelry to the table, if he's not bringing no real money to the table, the top guys, the Keyshawn Davises, Ariana said with the Abdullah Masons and the Andy Cruzes and the fighters that are up and coming in that division, if they have to fight Kid Austin, are they going to take the fight? Are they going to factor in that he's kind of like
rambunctious
a little bit? You know what I mean? And he brings nothing to the table. I don't know. I mean, we'll see how they deal with it. But I think there's definitely some developmental things that we need to first see him check the boxes in to really get a good idea of where he's trying to be and what his future looks like at 135, especially.
Okay. But see, the reason why I asked that question, and this might segue, is I see what's going on with his father, right? So I'm trying to see, is this a situation where they're going to kind of demean the father because Kid Austin is actually a threat? Or like you say, it's somebody they might not necessarily want to fight. You see what I mean? So is he the next one to come up where we lower his value based on something else, other than can you beat him? It might be ugly, but can you beat him though? I just, I looked at the highlights and what I don't know about, that's why I'm asking y'all about him. See how y'all felt about him, but he looked like he might be just a rough opponent. Maybe he could be beat, but it might be, like I said, a rough go.
Right. Echo has something to say too.
Echo, how you doing, man? We pull you in the building. How you doing, family?
I'm good, guys. How are you?
Doing well,
good.
well, man. How's everything over there across the pond?
It's
dark.
5:30 in the morning, so not a lot going on now.
No doubt, man. Any opinions on Floyd Schofield? Have you been paying attention to him at all, or are you more?
Yeah, I have. I watch everybody, and I listen to a lot of things and see things. I believe he's just a hot prospect, to be honest, even though he's so high.
Right.
And I think his dad saying that he's the greatest fighter of all time, that's a bit of a delusion.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. I mean, it's great to believe in yourself and believe in whoever, but you've got to be careful. I mean, Oscar knows what's going on. He knows that he's not that great. I wish he would have put him in with some other people already. So I mean, I can see a lot of people ending up a bit like David Moore did when he fought Duran. You've got to be careful.
Right.
Look what happened. Look what happened to David Moore.
100%. Do you think that his father, the influence of his father right now, and whatever trajectory they have on how active they're trying to get him, or they're trying to get him into the biggest fights, is he being moved too quickly, in your opinion, or is it okay the way he's moving? Like what do you see as something he needs to work on before he gets into these bigger matches? You know what I mean?
Well, the thing is, as Ray said, it just goes to hell for leather sometimes, just throws loads of combinations. And the key to boxing is like music, the gap between the notes. And really, there's only 7 notes in music. But good boxers vary the rhythm and they have more pauses. And I don't see that a lot. I just see him hitting people. And he probably only does that because he can get away with it with certain fighters. But you can't do that against the really skilled and the greater fighters. You won't get away with that. That's why there's levels,
Right.
and you just can't have a good punch and just throw loads of combinations. There's more to it than that. There's lots of more nuances. The varying of the length of the feint, you know, which way you turn, which way you pivot, knowing when to do what and why and when. It's not just doing the how. Doing the how is the easy part.
Right. Yeah, I agree, man. I think Schofield has a lot of potential. I think he's a great fighter, man. I'll be honest with you, but I do question it's one of those toxic with that father-son relationship. I wonder how that's going to manifest into his career and how that's going to manifest in his development. A lot of these father boxer trainer, you know, saying guys are seem to just be a lot of who's going to be the star. Who's going to be the star of the show? Who you really out? Are you representing your fighter, or are you really trying to make a name for yourself? Because you know a lot of these boxer trainers, they're trying to make names for themselves as trainers, right? They want to get the credibility of taking their child to the next level and validating, you know, their trainer accolades that they feel like they deserve. But you know, even with Bill Haney and Devin Haney, you know what I'm saying, or you know Teofimo Sr. and his son, you see a lot of sometimes, most of the time, it seems like they talking more than their damn son is talking. You know, right? We saw Schofield Senior this week kind of he's had a pretty busy week. You know what I mean, on the social media space. Like he got into it with Greg Hackett. You know, it got just crazy with him. Then he got up there on a friend of his supposedly, and Coach Malachi over there at True Media, and you know, you just saw him kind of get into his emotions, into his feelings, and just, you know, calling people out and just you're a phony, you're a fake. That's why you're saying that. You already seen him in the gym. You seen him spar this guy. You seen him throw, you know what I mean, hit them, do the mitts. And you know, you said that he's going to be hard to beat. And now you're saying you don't know who. I mean, it just got so crazy where it's just like, how is this helping Junior out? You know, Junior's sitting there trying to get a word in. And if you watch the video with him and Coach Malachi, he literally adjusted the camera. I
saw that.
Right? It was insanity. He was like, what did you just do? Like, this interview is for him. He literally put his hand on the camera and adjusted to him, put his hand on Junior's chest, like, relax, and just started going back and forth with Malachi. Malachi's telling him too, like, yo, what are you doing? Like, it was just interesting. So it's just like, if you can't handle the space, a lot of people see what Bill Haney did with his son, and believe it or not, as unpopular as people might feel about Bill Haney and the way he carried it, you know, there was some success there, and people are trying to duplicate that, and they don't know what comes with what they're doing. Bill Haney factored in what came with what he was doing, right? He understood, like, I'm going to do this, and what they're going to do is they're going to tear me down. They're going to attack me. The channels are going to be covering me in a negative way for like the next 6 to 8 months. They're going to throw shots at Devin. They anticipated all this happening. And it looks like Floyd Schofield Sr. is not dealing with it well. Like, he's kind of looking at it like, what are you, attacking me? Well, you know already. It's not working for you, brother. This thing that you're trying to do is not working for you. And more importantly than not working for you, I have to question, is it working for Junior? Because that's who's the most important part of the conversation. It's Junior that we coming to see. He's the one fighting. We're not coming to see you. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. Salute to my brother, the OG. Y'all know who it is. Say less.
Give him the horn. That's my brother, big bro.
What's good? What's goody?
Blue blood.
You know, having me up there.
What's good?
It was dope. You know what I mean? Being with you up there, bro.
Yeah, man. I'm enjoying it, man.
It
Yeah,
is.
man.
It is.
Definitely appreciate it, man. You know what I mean?
I was telling Clay, I'm like, damn, bro, we was on between yesterday and today, 8 hours.
Right.
It felt like 2 hours, man.
Flying through it, right? Ain't nothing like having somebody to build off of and throw stuff off of, and you know what I mean? Like, you don't even realize the time going by. I appreciate you letting me come up there and hold it down with you, man. I can hold you, man. That's a fact.
For sure. I appreciate you coming through, man.
No doubt, man. No doubt.
It's fun, man. You know what I mean?
You know, what we didn't get to talk about really on the show today, man, was this whole entire Floyd Schofield situation, Senior, and the way he's kind of like, he's getting a lot of attention right now. But the question is he getting the right attention or the wrong attention? Is this working? Because it seems like he's trying to run a Bill Haney a play. But Bill Haney had a whole different result and was in his own right was successful, which is why I think Schofield Sr. is trying to run it, because he's trying to match that success. Right. But is this working out? Is this working out the way he planned on it working out? Is Junior benefiting from this in some kind of way to where we can look at this as genius, or is this really just some toxic thing that's going on that he needs to kind of get a hold of?
And Clay, real quick,
I'll say this, right? It's working out because we all talking about it.
But, all right, but I was going to say this too, Blue. I'm glad you said that, because I actually was talking to Clay earlier, and I had mentioned that the difference between, I think, Bill and what Floyd's trying to do is Floyd's trying to do everything that Bill does to a point of Bill was able to spin the negativity into his favor and set up the person interviewing him sometimes into traps, right? Revealing things that they don't want revealed, and having things that he'll make them slip up. Whereas Schofield tries to use, it seems like he tries to use his voice to overtalk people so that he can do it, and he's not successful. And it looks like he's getting frustrated with it. And if you notice, it's like he's trying to take the page out the book, but he's just failing. It looks like he's getting frustrated. And then people are like starting to recognize, like, yo, this guy is really like not who we think he is. He's really crazy out here. We don't even want to deal with this guy. So I see a lot of spaces are starting to move away from him. What do you think?
Yeah, because
that assessment.
Yeah, because no, you're 1,000% right. See, here's the thing: Bill is original, and the thing about Bill is this is the thing people don't understand is Bill is just being Bill.
Right.
People take what Bill does as publicity, but no. Bill is just being Bill. When I'm hanging out with Bill and there ain't no cameras and we just chilling and me and Bill, he doing what he do, I'm doing what I'm doing, he's still the same Bill Haney. You know what I'm saying? Right. What the difference is, Bill could come up here and debate us and he ain't gonna tell you about the streets. He ain't gonna tell you. He gonna tell you that he's a hustler. But Bill is not going. It's not. There's no interruption. There's no threats. There's none of that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's just. See, Bill can talk boxing, and he's not. Bill just recently said, "This is the Devin Haney era." He said that after Devin Haney accomplished being a 2-division champion and undisputed.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, Bill was like, and here's another thing. Bill like, listen, we chasing the Tanks. We chasing the Mikey Garcias. The you know what I'm saying? Like, but he did it in a way to understand that Bill is not offending the media. Bill is not offending. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's his approach is because he's organic with it. And my thing with Senior, I don't know him. You know what I'm saying? I know Bill, but from the beginning, when kicking it with Bill has always been this way.
Do you think that? Do you think that Senior is? Do you think that Senior's being organic? Like, is Senior trying to not really carrying it in an organic? Is he not being real about what he's doing, or is this really him as well?
I think that he is trying to what the things that he's saying. Nobody believes it. That's the problem. Bill's approach wasn't, my son is the best fighter in history. You know, like he said, Tank has lost a step. Tank is punch drunk. That's what Senior said, you know? And it's like, bro, what are you talking about?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like his Bill's approach is different. Bill's approach is, if you think your fighter is better than my fighter, because I'm confident in my fighter, let's make the fight. But the thing is, Bill built up his fighter to the point where we knew who Devin was. Devin was a superstar, and in the eyes of many, before Tank.
Yep.
Before Tank. You know what I'm saying? Bill, the difference is Bill said we're gonna do it on our own. Tank had the cosign from Floyd, but Tank lived up to the billing.
Right.
The difference. Look at Tank, right? Floyd did all the talking for Tank. Tank did all the work. He lived up to the hype, and now Tank talk. You understand? It's like, to me, he's talking before they accomplish anything.
Mm-hmm. I definitely agree with that. I think that's a big part of it, and I also think that, Bill, believe it or not, Bill gave a lot of credit. I know people looked at it the other way, like he was tearing down fighters that he was going to fight. He only did that when they were really showing that they weren't going to fight him. But for the most part, kind of following the Floyd Mayweather blueprint to a degree, as far as building up fights and building up the quality of fighters and wanting to fight the best and saying he's the best. That's why I want to fight him. Whereas it seems like Schofield Sr. is more so discrediting these fighters in the gym and in sparring sessions. He talks about sparring a lot. Like, he really brings up a lot about sparring, and he discredits these fighters before they can get in the ring with him, right? He says that they trust me. This guy don't want it with me because he knows how we punching. What's this guy going to do? They're not real. When you punch them in their nose and you break their nose, they're not going to want to do nothing. You guys just trust me. We know all of these fighters already, and we know none of these. You know, it's just very like discrediting a lot of fighters before he can get in the ring with them. It's just like, so why do you need to fight these dudes? Right? Trust me.
Here's the thing, right? Mm-hmm. When you looked at the interview with Mill and Keyshawn and Zab, the way he was talking to Keyshawn, Bill don't talk to people like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And he don't talk to fighters like that. You know what I'm saying? He was just straight disrespect. He didn't let Keyshawn get a word in. He was disrespecting Keyshawn. He was. It's just like the choice of words was a poor choice of words. You know what I'm saying? You're to describe this young man. Keyshawn Davis is a young man. When Bill is up there, okay. Fast forward, just to give an example. The whole thing happened with Ryan Garcia and everything, right? Bill, after that happened, was on an interview with Mill City and Ryan Garcia, and Bill wasn't disrespecting Ryan Garcia.
Right.
He was just like, hey, he was telling Ryan Garcia, hey, you don't know what the substance is. He was challenging him, but he wasn't. He never disrespected Ryan Garcia.
Yeah, he wasn't going to get into it with Ryan. He wasn't going to get into it with him. He was going to keep it as professional as he could keep it and acknowledge Ryan for who he is, but he's just asking questions. He was never going to get into, I'll break your jaw. You know what? Green light next time I see you. Hey, this is going to happen to you. And, you respect your elders. And he just gets, me.
It's not that. F you, pussy. And this is a part of my choice. You this. And you, like, bro, you.
It seems like Senior loses control. You know what I'm trying to say? Exactly. It seems like he gets to a point where you watch him literally lose it. Like, Bill, Bill will never lose it. He's going to be contained. He's going to be laughing and smiling and telling you stuff that's pissing you off or whatever he's doing. He's trolling you. He might do whatever he feels like doing, but you can tell that it's a controlled, it's a planned out, it's strategized, it's understood. Right. What's understood doesn't need to be said. But with Floyd, it seems like I said, when I watched that man adjust the camera with Coach Malachi yesterday, and it's like he lost the eye left the prize.
Yeah, like yesterday, he said, even my son said you phony, and then Junior's like, I never said that. I never said that. He's like, yes, you did, and then he turned the camera.
Yeah.
It's like,
that's listen, I definitely see a new trainer coming in that corner and maybe a new management, man. I was thinking
over there,
I know, but I'm saying when I seen that, the first thing that came to mind was Shane Mosley Jr., bro. I mean, not Junior, Shane Mosley. Yeah, is he a junior?
Yeah.
Yeah. So when I seen it, I was like, yo, That's exactly what I said. That's how Sugar Shane and his dad broke apart, because it wasn't because of the in front of the camera stuff. It was behind the scenes stuff with the spotlight and things of that nature. He was stating. So it happens, man, and I think he's going to move on from it. I think we're going to see him going a different direction.
We can only hope that he moves on as well, right? Because like I said, I also see that that Junior has a loyalty to his father. He's trying to, like, he started off the conversation defending him, like, yo, my dad is always calm. It's just that you guys see him in the wrong spot because the cameras is on him. But then he came back and said he's getting therapy. What is he getting therapy for if he's always calm? What is he getting therapy for if he's, you know what I mean, if he's always handling these situations in a healthy way? So it's like you're exposing.
It's like this, right? You never hear Bill disrespecting fighters. At some point in time, the common denominator is yourself. You know what I'm saying? You can't have you having beefs with Greg Hackett, you having beefs with Keyshawn Davis, with Shakur, with this person, that person.
Malachi.
Coach didn't even know where he coming from. He like, bro, Coach asked him a simple question and he got frustrated. Oh, you being phony. Coach is saying, from your standpoint, he didn't even take the time out to understand what he was saying. Yeah, Coach, you don't. And here's the thing. Let me say this, and I'm glad you said it, right? Because what it is that he don't understand how this works. And so Coach is asking him, it's not what Coach knows. You're not there for Coach. You're there for the people in the chat. So you telling me, for instance, to give you guys an example, I've been to Devin house. I've been in Adrian Broner circle. I've been to Deontay Wilder house. I've been in their training camps. I watched Floyd Mayweather training camp. You know what I'm saying? Like a plethora of fighters. Okay? If I bring Devin Haney on, I've been to Devin Haney house when he getting in a hypobaric chambers. He's been working out, you know, not to give away too much what he does, but just, you understand? So now if I bring Devin and Bill on the show, it's not for me to know what you did. I'm bringing you on so you can explain to the people. So if I say to Bill, hey man, what does Devin Haney do when he go home? And he like, oh, Blue, you being phony. You act like you don't know what Dev do. It's not. I'm not asking you for me. I'm asking you to explain to the people.
Right.
And that's what Coach was asking him yesterday. How do you rank your level of opponents? It's not for Coach. And it's not for you and Coach's relationship. It's for the people that don't know you and what happens behind the scenes and how you view the ranking system.
Right.
And another thing is, so then he took offense to that. Oh, you being phony. You know how we do. It's not. No, you're misunderstanding. You're wrong. And then another thing he said was when Coach said, you know, as far as the ranking system, if you don't know about the ranking system, you're ignorant to the ranking system. So Coach was confused. And he's like, hold on. I don't know how the ranking system works. Because he's the obvious. We all know how the ranking system works if you any type of part of the sport of boxing. Right. We know the basics of the ranking system. But Coach was thrown off from his standpoint of the ranking system. So Coach is asking him from his standpoint. So he's saying, I don't know from your standpoint, explain. And he's like, see, you don't even know. No, you don't know. You're not paying attention.
Right.
Because Coach knows the ranking. So then he goes, oh, well, it goes from prospect to contender to we already know that. That's the obvious. You didn't educate us on anything. Coach was asking you, how does the ranking system work from your standpoint, from your experience with it? Not the basics. And so then when Coach said to him, hey, well, we all know the ranking system can be bought. Oh, come on, man. You see, that's what you being phony. You being phony because you know we ain't buy nothing. He didn't say you bought anything, brother. He didn't say you bought anything. He's saying in general, the ranking system by your standard and by somebody else's experience can be different. somebody else can experience X, Y, and Z, and you can experience this. It's not the same for everybody. So he's asking you, brother, how was the ranking system based off of your personal experience and your fighter with the ranking system?
100%.
Not what I know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're 100% right, man.
Right. My experience.
I thought it was
so behind the
as well.
scenes. Yeah, but so behind the scenes with just Devin and Bill or Deontay Wilder. Mm-hmm. I've been to dinner with Deontay Wilder when they telling him X, Y, and Z with the rankings and this and this, so on and so forth. Now I do an interview with Deontay Wilder. I'm going to say, hey, of course I know. I was sitting there. Mm-hmm. It's not for me. It's not for me. So I'm going to ask Deontay Wilder what's going on with the ranking system for him to explain to the people.
Right.
Yeah, I thought it was also significant that you can tell that Senior had this relationship with Malachi, right? Like you saw how it threw Malachi off, like he was really caught off guard by because he felt like you would look at my space as a safe space and know that I would never intentionally put you in position to look bad, that I'm over here trying to actually help sell you. You're just coming off of a real toxic a real toxic conversation in front of the world with Greg Hackett. So you're coming on my show to kind of redeem yourself to a degree, to kind of show this side of you that's really just show that like the Greg Hackett situation was a unique situation, that you guys had this relationship that was really toxic before, and not to expect this from you when you go on these channels. So that's what this opportunity was when he got there. But you saw Malachi was just like, it just kind of exposed the mental issues that Floyd Schofield Sr. probably is dealing with, that you saw him lose control. You saw his son trying to reel him in. You saw the son try to calm everybody down and make both of them be quiet and be like, listen, both you guys. And you saw Schofield jump on his son almost damn near, like, you know what I mean? Like put his hand on his chest and let him know like, yo, bro, nah, man, this guy got to talk to me. And then after he put his hand on his chest and the son was like, all right, man, I already know. You could tell the son was like, he's going into one of those situations and I don't want it to get crazy on the camera. So I'm going to let him go. Then you saw the camera get adjusted. Then you saw him cutting off Malachi. Every time Malachi kept on trying to like give him clarity on the situation and be like, listen, I'm on your side. Calm down. I'm really trying. This is your opportunity to speak. He wouldn't even hear him. Coach Malachi was right when he said your mouth is, you know what I mean, you talking too much to hear. You can't hear and talk at the same time. So you're literally not hearing, and now you're ranting, going crazy, and now I'm your enemy. Somebody who calls your son my nephew. I call him nephew, somebody who, like you said, has been in your house and you know me, and now I'm the enemy. Now I'm the phony. Now I'm, you know what I mean? You're just unraveling in front of the camera. You're unraveling. It's getting crazy to the point where you had to hang up. Now I'm your friend. I call your son my nephew, and you just hung up on me and played me in front of everybody.
So perfect example in the world. Perfect example, Clay, is me and you talk all day, right? Yes, we discuss different things other than the topics of boxing, but most of our conversations about boxing and what we catch on in the boxing world, right? So as we're talking and we're talking about fighters or what's upcoming fights and how we're going to break down fights, we still come on the channel and we still talk about the things like we never talked about it. We still try to give a fresh delivery of what's going on, even though we know what's going on. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to give a sense of what people don't, are not understanding with the to make a relationship, what you guys are talking about. So when we're talking about it, we're giving the fans now what we have a broader perspective. We might hear each other say the same thing twice. We may hear something new. Oh, I didn't hear you say that earlier, but you know what? I'm glad you seem to agree with me now. You must have given some thought, but guess what? I understand where you're coming from. Now I'm going to flip what you said on me earlier back at you and see how you react. And we do that to each other all the time. So, you know what I mean? But we're not trying to hurt each other or devalue each other. You know what I mean? We're not acting like, yo, didn't we just talk? Didn't I just talk to you about this earlier,
bro?
You
acting brand new? Why you acting brand new?
You acting like this ain't happened earlier, bro? Who cares? No disrespect to his mind, bro. Who cares what he thinks about our conversation?
Right.
I mean, you know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Why is Echo ain't got to know what we talked about earlier? Bro, let's talk about something. You know what I mean? That's what he's doing to his people. So at the end of the day, I understand what you guys are saying. I'm just trying to bring a perspective to make it super casual for everybody to understand. And I'm not calling nobody casual in our business because we got the best fans in the boxing channel of YouTube. Sorry, Blue.
It's all good. It's all good.
They come from your channel, so I just wanted to make sure.
I'm just a squirrel in your world, man.
Hey, well, look, let me ask y'all a question. Let me play devil's advocate a little bit.
Sure.
You know, the world look at Bill Haney as, you know, he crazy. Devin need to leave his father and all that. But under Bill's tutelage, Devin became the youngest undisputed lightweight, whatever it is, champion of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Now, whereas we see this copy of Bill Haney with Schofield, if you really look at it, Junior fights like Senior talks. It's a little erratic, you know. It's forceful. But who are you putting in the ring with, Floyd? What A-side fighter is going to get in the ring with him as a boxer? As we look at Schofield Jr. as a boxer, like this generation is soft a little bit. Who are you putting in there with him, or does he branch off as the future as his own A-side where he has to find his own fighters?
Hey, that's what motivated me to come up here. Salute everybody, Clay, Ray, Blue, what's up, Blue, Echo, everybody on the panel, salute. I wanted to ask y'all about what they was talking, you know, because he was talking about Abdullah Mason first and Tank too. So I wanted to ask y'all how y'all think that plays out. Do y'all think he got a chance against Tank, or, you know, first of all, I think Abdullah Mason, I think is better than him. What y'all think?
Well, my opinion is this, right? First of all, you gotta understand, he's so far away from a Tank fight, it ain't even funny.
It don't
he claimed me number 2 though.
But that doesn't mean.
But Tank, first of all, Tank don't even operate with the sanction bodies in it. He's like Canelo. It's like David Morrell and Canelo.
Right.
Canelo don't care what David Morrell's doing,
and
he has no bearings on his career.
My bad, Blue.
No problem. He has no bearings on his career. Like, so again, it's the reality. So like yesterday, the issue when Coach asked him about Abdullah Mason, he said Abdullah Mason was fighting cab drivers. And then when Coach asked him about, well, what do you think about your son's ranked fighter? And then he got offended. He said, ain't no such thing as bad fights. What? And then Coach said, "What you just said? Abdullah Mason fight cab drivers."
You said it.
So there has to be a level of understand. You can't be delusional to everything. There has to be a level of reality. There has to be reality. The reality is there's a ranking system. The reality is your son, he could be number 2 in Tank's ranking. That don't mean nothing for Tank. Do you actually think the WBA is going to take Tank's belt if he don't fight Floyd Schofield? Of course not.
You know what though, Blue? Tank has been fighting his mandatories though. He had to because of his belt.
So frequent, he probably won't end up being a mandatory for a while due to the fact that he might even get passed in the sanctions. The sanctions actually rank you based on the activity and people that are in your ranking, in your sanctions. So there are fighters in his sanctions that may pass him just to the fact that they had a fight and maybe they just didn't have a great performance. They dropped the spot because I think Moritawa was number 2. He dropped because nobody liked the performance, and I think Schofield moved up, and I think Frank Martin was also number 3. So he just moved up to the fields that people just moved and slid down from. Doesn't matter. He can move right back down as people start fighting again. So they only see it as just giving the eyes that they're working and moving the sanctions up and down and they're staying active. That has nothing to do with what's going to happen in the ring for these fighters coming out the sanctioned bodies. They know who they're going to make the fights with. Definitely not Floyd.
Yeah, but Floyd Senior and or Junior, however you want to look at it, bringing up a Tank or anything like that was just, that's a real clout chase. That's what that is. You know what I'm saying? Because that's not realistically going to happen. They're saying that just off the strength of you know, using Tank's name to kind of give them some attention. As far as Abdullah Mason is concerned, you know, that's a realistic fight that can happen. I can tell you right now, though, you know, I'm gonna be 100 with you to say that he's gonna have to consider boxing Abdullah, and not, he can't just jump in. He's gonna run into something. This is gonna be bad. You know what I'm saying? And I believe he has the ability to do it, but the question is he going to? You know, I mean, they made a lot of excuses for the cuts he had over his eyes, saying that it really wasn't his fault, that the other guy kind of let in with his head, and he's the one. And I think we all watched that fight and could see that Floyd Schofield, you know what I mean, didn't need to be jumping into shots the way he was. He didn't need to be as aggressive as he was being, and probably could have avoided at least one of those gashes that he has on his face at a very young age now, having that scar tissue there, you know, not even fighting against the top level opponents that the division has to offer you. You know, you're putting a lot on you, a lot of pressure on you, and if your inability to own it and constantly want to make excuses, to me, is not a good sign of what is to come for you, because it's just going to get worse. You know what I'm saying? Like, as far as the competition, you know, I've even heard him entertaining conversations of going up to 140. Horrible. Like, you got to get it together before you go up there. Punchers all in that damn division.
And just for the record, that you mentioned 140, let's look at the two fighters that actually had a similar fighting style but had better techniques. What happened when they got in the ring with fighters that could box? They literally lost. They got their first losses, or they lost their titles. And we've seen this over and over. And it's not just at 140; it's other divisions. I mean, we just seen. We got to look at that styles make fights, and when you're fighting, like I said, Sean Porter was a dog, and comparing him to Sean Porter was perfect. Sean Porter also had great defense too, so you know, that's something I think Schofield Jr. lacks a little bit, is his defensive presence, because he's all offense. And I think when he goes in there to try, like I said earlier, when he's trying to go in there, he's trying to just get in, hit at all costs. He's almost like a bulldozer. He's just trying to move you around. And he doesn't care what it takes to do it. He's just not going to back, because he believes he's an iron shield. But this is what's going to happen. With risk come with dares come risk, and when you dare to be great, sometimes those risks can be your enemy, your worst enemies, and that's what's happening in some cases. So that's how I see him moving. I don't think he moves to being number two. I'm telling you, by the time the next go round of fights, because all these guys are in the fights, they're all circulating. You're going to see him move up and down. He's definitely De Los Santos, and all these guys are in the mix. Andy Cruz, Frank Martin will probably climb back up. You're going to see them in the mix, and there's going to be more people joining that sanction body as people are moving up from lower divisions too. So you got to keep that all in account. Frequent flyer frequency, you're going to see that. So just be wary of what you see, man, because sometimes it's not where you are.
And I can say this too, right? Another thing is, what's the rush?
Boom.
What's the rush?
Yeah.
Like what Abdullah Mason. Yeah. What is Floyd? 21?
Floyd,
bro, what's the rush?
Schofield like 23?
He is
21 years old.
21 years old.
Yeah, he's 21.
Wow.
Yeah.
Young guy, man. Young guy.
Me personally,
There's no rush.
I don't think he makes it past Abdullah Mason. I think Mason got the reach advantage over him, and he just seemed like a better boxer.
Yes, he's very sharp. I was watching him. He's sharp and technical with his punches, bro. And when you sharp and technical like that, you can piece anybody up. You know what I mean? Especially when you're defensive too, because he actually slows the fight down. If anybody ever plays sports other than boxing, because I know I can't relate to everybody in boxing, even though we watch it, but if you play the sport, sometimes, like, I was a running back. I did train a little bit, but I wasn't a boxer. I played baseball. Those balls, when you throwing a baseball at 75 miles per hour or 80 miles per hour, and you see that ball is moving slower than you because you got to slow it down. Same thing with football. When you're running back, you see that guy coming to tackle you. Yes, it's full speed, but you're mentally slowing it down so you can make the adjustments for yourself. And then you know what I mean? But your reactions are full speed. So this is the same thing with boxing. Reactions are everything. So Abdullah Mason fighting Schofield and Abdullah Mason fighting. Abdullah Mason knows how to slow the fight down to bring it to him and to his level, and that helps. Go ahead, Echo. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. thinking about your thing you was just talking about. It's a bit like tennis. I mean, you've got to fight and it's back and forth. Sometimes you'll have a rally in a game of tennis and somebody will just chop the ball or lob it. You've got to know when to do that, and you just can't just rally punches. And this is one of the problems why people get knocked out. Not knowing when to do certain things. It's not knowing how to do it or just doing it. It's the why and the when. And I think the great fighters knew that. And it all comes down to a lot with the wisdom of the corner as well. Wisdom and knowledge are two different things, like I was saying before. That's the key to fighting, having that combination.
I agree with you 100%, Echo. I think, the knowledge is having the information is one thing, but knowing when to apply and when to when one thing works and when another thing doesn't work and being able to adjust. That's like the wielding of the sword, right? Like having a sharp sword and a pause. I'm saying a sword that can cut through anything is that's a great weapon you have in your hand, but your ability to wield it properly makes a difference on as to how effective that sword is going to be in your possession. And like you said, the great fighters understood that they were able to adjust. Shout out to Terrence Bud Crawford when he was fighting Madrimov. He really showed you like he has a lot of tools in his bags that he can use. But when he saw the adjustment made by Madrimov and that Madrimov was coming different, he was able to put away what his game plan was going into the fight because he thought Madrimov was going to approach him in a different way, and he was able to go back in that bag and grab what he needed to apply that to be effective in the fight. And that's the wisdom of the game, right? That's how the wisdom manifests into great fights. Does Schofield Jr. have that? Does he have an ability?
He won't have that because he's still young. He's still learning.
Right.
If you look at the great fighters. I mean, I don't know if anybody knows this, but Sugar Ray Robinson won the title in his 75th fight.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't even realize those things.
Right.
That was his welterweight. Exactly. That wasn't his middleweight fight. That was his welterweight fight when he won it. When he won it in 1946.
Mm-hmm.
He'd been boxing 6 years to fight 75 fights.
Right.
No.
Yeah, that's why the experience.
People don't realize that.
You can't replace the experience. You can't fast track the experience. The experience is something that takes with time. And that's the danger that I think a lot of us are seeing with Floyd Schofield Jr. is to really assess, like, if you move him too fast, although he has the knowledge, and he's been boxing ever since he was a young cat, and he was a young bull at 8 years old, amateur, and he has all this experience that you think he has, but he doesn't have the professional experience, and there's no fast tracking that experience. If you push him too fast, you might get him exposed because there's a lot of guys who have a lot more experience to bring to the table that you're not counting it as a factor as to why Schofield can or can't beat them.
Right.
Yeah,
and that's my thing. It's like this, right? It's like it's unnecessary.
Mm-hmm.
To me, he's already making a pretty good money, I gather. He's with Golden Boy. He has what you call it? He has a security. You know what I'm saying? He has Golden Boy. He has talent. He's highly touted. You know what I mean? So what's the rush?
There's no rush. I mean, Oscar knows what he's doing. Oscar knows what he's doing.
It's the same way with like Abdullah Mason. He ain't talking about fighting Tank next.
There's no rush. He'll end up like Davey Moore if he does that.
Right.
Yeah. You remember what happened to Michael Grant? That's my favorite one.
Yep. We just talked about that the other day, but go ahead. Another conversation.
Comparing the majority.
It'll go ahead and ruin you, man.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? See, the thing with Big Baby Anderson, the difference is he's in a heavyweight division, right? And Martin Bacoli is not a champion.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It was time for him to step up in competition. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So at 23 in the heavyweight division is a world of its own. You know what I mean? But he didn't jump from where he's at to fighting Tyson Fury. That's the difference, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Michael Grant, he went from Jared Anderson stage to fighting Lennox Lewis.
Yeah. That was a big
You know what I'm
mistake.
saying?
That was a big mistake.
Yeah. It's one thing to go from one stage to fighting, Shannon Briggs or, and no disrespect, Shannon's my guy. You know what I mean? But there's just levels. You got to take a step up, but you don't want to take a jump, a leap. You know what I mean? Take your time.
Well, that's what I was saying about Duran and David Moore. In 1983, I think it was June 6th, 1983. Yep. He got battered, and that ruined him completely.
Yep. Never the same.
And he was a great fighter as well.
Yep. And never the same.
Yeah, exactly. Too quick. Just too quick.
We talked about it yesterday a little bit, just when we were talking about Turki Al-Sheikh. Potentially starting to invest in the development of these fighters, of these younger guys, right? Like getting them in the ring and participating in that fight, because he's participating in the biggest fights, but saying that you need that right matchmaker. You need the person who understands how to develop a fighter. You don't want to just get all fantasy fights on these young fighters. Like, you know what I want to see? I want to see Andy Cruz fight Abdullah Mason right now. Like, hold on. Let Andy develop. Let Abdullah develop. They'll meet up here somewhere. Put some titles on the line. Allow them to get their experience. Allow them to develop. Don't just stick them in there and lose out on the opportunity to see them do something great later. You know what I'm saying? You need somebody who's intelligent, like Top Rank, like we talked about yesterday, Blue.
The best matchmaking.
Yeah, the best ones. They understand the science of developing their fighters. They don't throw them into fights too soon, and they don't throw them into the fights too late. They throw them at the right time. Like you saw how they move, how they're moving Abdullah. They're like they see what everybody is seeing in Abdullah. They understand that they have a star in their hands, but they're not taking him like, you know what? He's ready. Throw him up in there against Shakur. No, we don't need to do that. We're going to keep him busy, put him with fights with people in that space, let him build his confidence, and then we'll gradually put him where he needs to be. Although we already see what you guys are seeing, the eye test confirms that the talent is there, but he still needs the experience, and we're going to give him that experience gradually, slowly develop him into who he needs to be.
Exactly. He doesn't
remember
go ahead.
Remember that Lomachenko was 26, amateur pedigree, 2-time gold medalist, and got up in there with Salido in his second fight.
Boom.
That was the bad mistake as well.
Right.
I was thinking that could be a strategy for Tank too, though. To get Schofield out the way early, before he becomes a bigger problem. He kind of low key did that to Frank Martin early, got him early.
Yeah, but he's not on the list. Frank was serving a purpose. Schofield doesn't. Frank was serving the purpose of I've just been laid off. I haven't been fighting for 14 months. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Frank in there. But Tank has kind of been clear about the fact that he's on his way out the door. He wants to knock out these 5-6 fights, get this money, supposedly at least, and he wants to leave. Fighting Schofield, unless he's on the list, which I don't see why Schofield would be on the list. That Tank Davis is like before I leave.
There's no money in that.
But at the same time, he's not going to be able to fight just the people that's on his list. Look at the bumps in the road he ran into with Loma and Shakur. You know what I'm saying? He not going to be able to just fight only the people that's on his list. He's going to have to take some other fights too.
Maybe.
I agree. He's going to have to make some adjustments along the way, but they have to serve a purpose. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it's going to be reshuffled. It's just going to be reshuffled. It's not going to be like, I'm going to put too many new fights. I don't see it yet. You know what I'm saying? I think he's still going to fight I think legitimately he can fight everybody. Lomachenko's just going to be somebody he fights later. Or, you know what I mean? Shakur's, he might have to reshuffle them. Like, I thought I was going to fight you second, but I'm going to fight you fourth, and I'm going to fight the fifth guy second or first, or, those type of things. But the fights are pretty much legacy-driven fights. Titles are involved in it. Generational talent is involved in it. Schofield's not even in the era of Tank Davis. It doesn't even make sense for them to compete. It's like we're not even in the same There's nothing in fighting Flo Schofield. There's no wins there.
And you look at it from this standpoint. Now, as far as like what you just said, like him, he ain't gonna be able to fight all the fighters on the list, so on and so forth. And it can be little changes. And like to give you an example, they talking about now Dennis Berinchyk fighting Keyshawn Davis.
Yep.
Now Tank said he want to be undisputed. Keyshawn Davis beats Dennis Berinchyk. It makes sense for him to fight Keyshawn Davis.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. But I was thinking more so on the lines of his next fight that he's about to have right now. You think that's going to be one of those people that's on his list? I don't think so.
It could be Loma. Loma's the only one I can see that being somebody on his list. Pitbull scratched off the list as of right now, so they got to replace him with somebody. I think Berinchyk is, or the winner of Berinchyk, Keyshawn Davis, Martala, whoever goes into that fight with Berinchyk, may be the potential opponent. I do think it's going to probably be one of the Russell brothers. I don't know why. I have this feeling. I think it's going to be Dev, Shakur, Loma, and Tio. That's what I think his list runs out to be. And we'll see how. I mean, that's my opinion. I think that's how it goes. But as of right now, with not having a fight, that list might have just got pushed back. So
but this November, though.
Right.
And remember, I told you guys earlier, don't be surprised if he don't fight this year.
Right. And if he don't fight, like I keep telling you, it's crazy to keep throwing out the blue. It's crazy to keep throwing out there. But PBC wanted to see this fight. I just said it before. Chris Colbert is a long shot, but a doable fight because PBC's been trying to make that fight for like 3 years with Tank. And they might just want to put him in the ring to keep him with a stay busy fight and still believe that they can put him on the card. Plus, his ability to get knocked out by Tank in Showcase, they might just make that an easy fight just for him to go. Unless they pull somebody from 130. I doubt they're going to pull anybody down from 140. Tank seems to want to unify, so I don't believe he goes to 140 yet. He's trying to go undisputed. But we'll have to wait and see.
And remember, I told you guys, the plan was Lomachenko, and the backup plan was Isaac Cruz.
Right.
They both failed, so it left them in limbo. That's what happened.
Everybody
a couple of things
that he don't like himself.
Everybody say that. Look, everybody say that. Hell nah, but I'm telling you, bro.
Including me. I don't see that fight happening.
Gobert end up in that ring with him. Don't get mad. It's a stay busy fight, right? It is what it is. Who else you gonna fight?
Ray, the dude from Philly that he don't like. What's his name? You think he on the list?
Tevin Farmer.
Tevin Farmer. You think he might be on the list?
On the top rank. I don't think Bob risked that fight with him over there. And I think Tank thinks that's just like probably not even worth his time. That was so many years ago. At 126, 130, maybe early 130. I don't think
126, 130 for sure.
It was 130.
Right, and all the fighters that are in the rankings right now all have fights coming up or have fought, or they're engaged somehow. So it's only a few fighters there. That's what I'm saying. There's only a few fighters to pick from, especially on the PBC side. And you only got 2 fighters, I think, that are legitimate over there that can make the fight unless they pull somebody from 130 or make somebody move from 140 down.
Well, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised if they entice Ryo. And
that's what I was going to say.
I was thinking that too, Blue. But he already said he don't want to do it. He want to relax. But listen, money talks, right?
Money talk.
Hey, well, let me ask you this. How much of this of Turkey of y'all giving credit for Tank not really having fights right now?
None.
That's nonsense.
None of nonsense. All these fights that are made and these busy fights are not all Turkey fights. All these fighters that are engaged or have fought are not Turkey fights. So at the end of the day, we can't put them all on Turkey saying that he's the reason why this is not happening. That's just a narrative being ran from the casual machine. We already know what that is, and they do that because they're trying to influence everybody that everybody else is bad and Tank is great. It's okay. Tank's a great fighter. We do agree with you, but we know that the machine is not against Tank. It's not a freeze out. It's not a buyout. It's none of that. The problem that we're having is their fighters.
I didn't even hear that.
Right. They're all busy. Oh yeah, the casual machine's been pushing this out left and right. I always, you know what I mean. The committee
No,
is
but
there.
no, but look, check out what
I
I'm
was gonna
saying
say he
is
might be
what I'm saying.
indirectly responsible.
That's what I'm saying. They're all busy. Since Turkey got into the game, they're all big. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it could be
Okay,
some
got
clever moving that you got them all busy, and that Tank really don't have anyone to fight.
I see what you're
Well,
saying.
well,
Yeah, indirectly.
I got you. Yeah, that makes a lot of
but
sense.
again, but the problem with that is that he tried to keep Tank in the loop as well,
Yes, he did.
and Tank pushed back. So that is
Exactly.
Yeah, you're
that
basically saying, but not by design, but just
Right.
by
right. He's saying by
the presence of Turkey.
default.
Right, by default. I agree. Listen, I think.
I agree with
Listen,
that.
man, I've said it already before.
That's a fact.
When it comes to this Turkey situation, what he brings to the table is he brings options, and options puts a certain checks and balances in the system. You know, it's the same thing with like anything. You know, when you're able to bring competition to the marketplace, it just levels things out a little bit.
Exactly.
It just
You
makes it.
know what Turkey did? He's forcing everybody's hand.
Right.
That's what he's doing.
Right.
So now he's like you said, indirectly, he's keeping these fighters active.
Exactly.
He's promising
and
them
even down,
that they
even
don't have
down
to
to
wait
his.
on these dudes. They don't have to wait on these big fights anymore. They don't have to wait on Tank to give him an opportunity. They don't have to wait on Canelo Alvarez to give him the opportunity. There are options out there, and he can facilitate that. He can give Terrence Crawford a Virgil Ortiz or a unification fight, or the winner of a Fundora Spence, or he can he can entice the Jermell Charlo to come out of retirement, make fights happen. He can keep good fighters in great fights. You don't have to sit there and just bend the knee and just wait on somebody. And like I said, Lomachenko showed improve. You know what I mean? Everybody thought that he was going to take the Tank fight because that was the fight he was supposed to take, and he's waiting on, and this is your opportunity. And Loma made it clear, like, not necessarily, bro. I don't have to fight you. You know what I'm saying? You can have to talk to me nice now. And then when you see Turkey throwing those events in LA and doing all those things and paying these guys well, and also them being able to lose and still come back and fight other fights, and he's kind of rekindling the spirit of boxing now to where there's no more, even the O doesn't get that weight anymore. Like, your O can go real quick. I'll make it go real quick because I'll throw 2 O's in the ring in 2 seconds. You know what I'm saying?
Let me drop something else on y'all. It wasn't by accident that Lomachenko was there.
Oh yeah,
right.
Or that he got into it with Shakur.
Right. We know that.
And even down to Tank's backup, it was going to be Pitbull Cruz, but he lost to Rayo, and Turkey made that fight.
And
Rayo versus him. You know what I'm saying? That was on his card.
And that's even safe to say that fight can still be good at 135. It's just 140 was a reach. You know what I mean? Maybe just Pitbull just didn't belong there. You know what I mean? That's something we also have to think about. And I think they should really take that in consideration, but they don't want to take a fighter off a loss. In my opinion, I don't know. They may take a fighter right now with what's left on the table off a loss. Another thing they can do, and I don't think I mentioned either, is they can probably even possibly go a different route and bend the knee to Loma. Since you talk about bending the knee, I know it sounds crazy. Maybe they renegotiate the deal with Loma and say, look, we'll pay you this X amount of money, just like you said with Rayo, Blue, and get the fight with Loma just to make it happen. You know what I mean? So there's plenty of things that can happen, and there's plenty of ways for the lanes to travel. We're only, a lot of people are fast paced in these lanes like they don't have rights and lefts and stoplights. So, hey, at the end of the day, anything can happen.
Hey, Clay and Ray, y'all. I don't know if y'all remember when I was on a week or two ago, and I told you Terrence Crawford and Loma situation mirror each other. Terrence Crawford went in negotiation, he pulled out. When it took a fight, they backed the Brinks truck up. I said Loma is pulling the same thing. He went into negotiation, he enticed it, he pulled out. If they want Loma, they're gonna back the Brinks truck up. They're getting finessed. Yeah, oh yeah.
But do we know that money was the issue though?
No, that's just
that's speculation. Frequent, no one has a direct answer to that.
Nobody has the information, but it's very realistic that it was
because he came over here. He could have said no on the phone.
Yeah, right. He didn't have to do that. That was Loma conveniently made a decision to go into a hiatus after he found out what the offer was, right? Like he hit the table first, they negotiated, and then in a response to whatever happened at that table, he said, you know what? I'm taking the rest of the year off to go kick it with my family. You know what I mean? Now, like we talked about this already earlier before, so we'll bring it back up to say that, and I'm talking about between me, Ray, and Flyer, that we talked about at the end of the day, it can be a multitude of reasons as to why Lomachenko didn't get involved in that fight right now, but it's not far-fetched that people are talking out two sides of their necks, right? That they're telling us that it had nothing to do with money, that it's about family time, but at the same exact time, it could also be they're covering it up and letting it be known that, you know, I wasn't appreciative of the offer. You know, financially, I feel like I should be doing better in this situation. So let's let you go ahead and fight somebody else, get some belts, maybe make more sense for me to give me vested interest in getting involved in a fight, and then we'll move forward with it at that point. You know, it could be a multitude of things, but listen, I have to side with Too Rich on it when he says back to brink. Like, this is very similar to the Terrence Crawford and Errol Spencer negotiation, where Terrence was like, I don't really need to fight you. Right. If you need to fight me, holla at me. Exactly. I'm already going to Hall of Fame. I'm an undisputed champion at 140 weight. I'm a 3 weight class champion. I have all these different things, and I can walk away from this, and it's not ideal what I want, but at the same time, it's not going to affect my legacy, you know, in a negative way, but so much. It's going to look like you didn't make the fight. You're the one who's going to miss out on legacy. You're the one who's looking for your first undisputed title. You're the one who needs what I have.
Hey, you know, Tank like to steal fights, right? You know, he took the fight for Frank Mar fight from Shakur. So Loma pulls out the negotiation. Loma and Shakur gets into it at the Crawford fight. That Loma fight might look real enticing right now to take that fight, thinking that Shakur might get that fight.
Could happen.
So I think they finessing. I think they finessing the PBC a little bit.
Oh, it could be. That's a good observation. I was also going to mention that what makes us even think that we're going to even get the Ryo fight? Like, what makes Ryo, since we were talking about making fights potentially, because he had an upset win against Pitbull, who people didn't even know who Ryo was. A lot of people do know who El Ryo was, but I'm saying a lot of casuals don't know who El Ryo was. So now they're understanding, oh, this guy should fight Tank. First of all, they're in 2 different divisions at the moment. Ryo did mention he'll come back down. I don't think he wants to give up his title at 140 to fight Tank. He's going to come down to the weight if he does fight him. He does think that fight's potential. But was he ever on Tank's radar? Because remember, Ryo had won the title eliminator. He was supposed to fight Tank, and Tank didn't want to pay him no attention. He was actually talking about fighting Pitbull or fighting, and or what's the name? That's why I said Chris Cobra has always been in the conversation of Tank, because Chris Cobra's been in 2 title eliminations for Tank in the last couple of years. So since he came to 135, so at the end of the day, we're looking at why he took Frank Martin over El Rayo, when all the fans saying we don't want to see him fight El Rayo. Why do we want to see? And I heard it. All the fans saying this, but now they're all, we want Rayo because he beat Pitbull. So it's funny how the tables turn, just like everything else that we're learning and hearing today in the boxing community. So that's why I was laughing and saying that who was Ryo? You know what I mean? Like, a minute ago, nobody wanted this fight. Now, tables have turned because he got a title and he's at 140 and he beat Pitbull, who was his potential opponent, right? Now everybody wants to see this fight. Who says Tank wants that fight?
Yeah. Guys, look, we're heading into the 3-hour mark. We're heading into the 3-hour mark. You already know what it is. We started late tonight, I know. Tomorrow I got a day ahead of me, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate you guys showing up. I don't know if you guys want to give it a closeout. Let me do my little at this point. Hold on one second. Where you at, man?
Breakdown.
Let's close out. Let's leave the people with whatever sauce we're gonna give them, and then we'll carry on tomorrow night and reconvene.
Start with Echo.
Yeah, guys. I just want to see the best fights. Really, to be honest, always politics and this waiting game. I don't really go with that. You know, I'm more old school, as you know, but it is what it is. This is the business of boxing now. It's all about money as well. That's why things get marinated, and then when it actually does happen, sometimes it's not so exciting. And
you're a traditional fan. That's the name. That's the old school. We're gonna call you. You're just a traditional boxing fan, Echo. That's all.
I've been watching boxing since 1963.
Right.
I was watching Ali fight. FIFA. That's why I know the history of boxing very well. I study it all the time. I know it's very, very, very well.
All right. No. Salute, Echo. Salute, man. Appreciate you.
I just want to see the great fight, that's it. But to be honest, everybody that's said all the comments, everything's been, to me, very valid, and, they've thought it through, and not just thought it. So, I'm happy to come up with to the people as well. So,
all right, brother.
All right.
No doubt, Echo. I appreciate you showing up, man. Check us out tomorrow night. We'll be back. Show up. We're gonna talk that boxing. Salute, Echo.
All right, you take care. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Right. Take care.
Yeah.
Y'all already know what it is. Y'all know what it is, man. I appreciate y'all having me on, man. Talking some boxing, man. I love this sport, man. I have a love-hate relationship with the sport, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The politics is just overwhelming right now, but I love the sport, man. But I appreciate y'all having me on, man. I'll see y'all tomorrow.
Definitely, Blue. We'll definitely see you tomorrow, man. Appreciate you coming on the show as well, man. Thank you, brother.
Yes, sir. No doubt. Blessings, y'all.
All right. Frequent flyer. Oh, we go too rich or frequent flyer? Which way direction go?
I'll go. Hey, you can go.
I mean, y'all already know what it is, man. Great show as always, man. I always enjoy coming up here on the panel and talking this great sport that we love called boxing with y'all, man. And on that note, salute to everybody in the chat. Again, everybody on the panel, man. See y'all next day.
That's a fact, man. Appreciate you, Freak. Thank you.
All right. Hey, just things I want, people to think about from my mind. What I see is the PBC got 154 locked up. They're gonna freeze Crawford out. It'll take them years to become undisputed. Turkey got 135 busy. They forcing Tank into a fight. So we're looking at a political battle. Al Heyman is back. I think big time boxing is back. So that's all I got.
No doubt. Let's not forget that Turkey and Al Heyman seem to be in negotiations as well, and they've been having some pretty decent conversations about the future of PBC and Riyadh season. So don't be shocked to see them come together and really just end up being both of them bringing 154 and 135 back to where it's supposed to be. You never know.
Yeah. Sometimes two men got to compete. They got to fight, and they shake hands, and then they do business. You know what I'm saying? So that's it.
No doubt.
Good hollering out with y'all, man. I'll check y'all out tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you,
All right.
Rich. Thank you, brother. Peace. So Ray Davis, we just did another one, man. Another one bites the dust.
Clay. It was some great conversation too. We got a lot of good things out there, for the boxing fans, because the community makes a difference. You know what I mean? When you start spreading the truth and you start building on the truth, even if it's opinions, with the builds, at least it leads the right direction for things to manifest. No one's perfect. No one's going to get everything right. But us just sitting here having great conversations with great knowledgeable people in the game helps. You know what I mean? So salute to everybody in the chat. Salute to the panels, the guests on the panel tonight. You know what I mean? Salute to Claymore Rain. And thank you so much to ATP, because without that, we wouldn't be here, man. You know what I mean?
No doubt, man. Salute to all you guys, man. Great discussion, great panel tonight. Thank you, everybody, for showing up and showing out. We were late tonight. You know, it was a busy day, but I'm glad that everybody was able to show up and enjoy the show. We was able to deliver some content, give some perspective on some of the issues going on in boxing and in current boxing news. We'll be here tomorrow night. You know what I mean? As you know, probably a little bit earlier tomorrow, but appreciate you coming out, man. Salute J Pit City. Salute Rick Timms, Lance Meyer, and Conquest 2 cents. Salute the Frequent. Salute to all the super chats, people who participated and put some light in some color in the chat. Mr. Big Play Bray, Gavin Goins. Appreciate you guys, man. And we gonna reconvene tomorrow, man. You guys have a good one, man. It's your boy Rain. It's an HCP Combat Media Show, and we out.
They hate when you elevate. The second of losses, I'm handing them out, yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly, I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight. They hate when you elevate. Elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate. Elevate, elevate. Yeah. They hate when you elevate. Elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate. Yeah. I had to elevate. I'm way too fly. Yeah, I'm feeling myself. Ain't no chance I'm coming down, no. Got a soul view to myself, yeah. Why would I give it up? Why do they wanna come take my place? I work too hard for it, don't need a replacement. This my vocation. Now I got rollies, all in rotation. Hop on a jet just to take a vacation. Remember the moments was trapped in the basement. Now the hard work is all taking me places. Squatting all black like we trapped in the matrix. Bet on myself and go ball out in Vegas. Living a life like I'm rich and I'm famous. Don't see the grind that I know that it came with. Oh. I ain't make it this far for myself, yeah. I had to prove to everybody else. I had to set them straight. Yeah, I had to ball, so I had to renovate. I know they hate when you elevate. The second of losses, I'm handing them out. Yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment. I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly. I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight. They hate when you elevate.